O'Reilly Auto Parts.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by Malik.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. We have made it to Wednesday. Halfway through the week, Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And you know I can't stand the Tuesdays, and I can't stand the rain. But we're here on Wednesday, and it won't be raining for too much longer. I will admit, Chris, even as somebody that despises the rain, even I have to admit it's just a little bit refreshing after the desert that we've been in for the last 4 or 5 months. So I'll actually allow it. I don't want too much of it. I got plans this weekend, but I'll allow it for now. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Great, yeah. It's a very welcome sight after how disgustingly hot it's been for, I don't know, it feels like 6 years now. But it's probably been about 6 months. It's nice to be on the other side of it. Nice to have the breeze. Nice to be wearing sweatshirts and sweats again. And it's going to be a couple weeks until we're just begging for the 80s, 90s, and 100s again.
Yeah. I think it'll take a little bit of time, and maybe by that time, I think Carmichael Dave will be back by the time the weather.
I think he comes back the day after.
Right when the weather breaks again. The next time we'll see Carmichael Dave, it'll actually be 100 degrees again. Nate behind the glass as always. As we got what you need here on this gloomy yet refreshing Wednesday, and we will continue to give away tickets to Fright Fest. That'll be at 11:30, and not a moment sooner. Fright Fest, and they've been going fast, Chris. And Chris, we were talking during one of the breaks yesterday. Hey man, you told me people love Fright Fest, and I do love Fright Fest. I guess I've just been kind of removed from it in my later years, and now having baby Stiles, just haven't really been in that mindset. But now that you jogged my memory, it was the place to be back in the day.
It's so fun. I mean, it feels like you're doing something.
Right.
Like it feels like, hey, especially when you're here in Sacramento, like it's an hour-long drive, so it kind of feels like a destination. And then I don't know if you've probably, you've been to San Francisco from Sacramento. Yes. You kind of clear the mountains, and then it's like, okay, yes, Six Flags is literally right there. So it's like it's almost like the seas part, and then you're there. And I don't know, something about Six Flags it feels like childhood. And it's one of those places that, it's definitely not Disneyland, but you can't help but go to Six Flags and just feel like, this is a good time. I've not been nearly as a parent, and I'm sure it's a completely different experience.
Like I said,
waiting for your kids to get offline or off the rides, and hey, let's go to the Shamu show. It's like, okay,
but that's the thing. Wifey will have to handle that, and I'm the roller coaster guy.
Yeah, exactly,
I'm not doing let the feed the whales and things like that. We sat at the Sacramento Zoo. We literally stayed about 5 minutes. They were feeding the alligator, and I said, I've had enough.
I get it. Yeah.
Let's go see if Slamson the second is awake yet, because I'd rather watch the cheetahs sleep than watch this. What are we doing here? Let's go around the room quickly. Okay. And this is your amusement park, your carnival, favorite amusement park carnival food off the top of your head. 916-339-1140. What are we missing? Text line, Sack Chat. Shout out to the Sack Chat, by the way. It's been on fire this week. Call line 2 and the text line. Favorite amusement park carnival food? I'll kick it off because I already know what mine is. Funnel cake.
Kettle corn.
It's funnel cake for me.
That's just like apple, like you don't go wrong with it. It's like it's standard. Don't overthink it. It's a hamburger. It's a hot dog. It's just like, the funnel cake is an absolute staple. And it's really hard to mess up a funnel cake too.
Yeah, you overcook. We had one. I'm not going to say where. It wasn't in Sacramento, I don't think. And
you just fry the dough too
much? They left it too hard. It's crispy.
Yeah, I guess that would be how you do it. Yeah. Because
what are you doing?
You still want it to be puffy.
No, I'm like crunching on this thing. I don't. It tastes like a sweet Cheetos. What the heck is this?
Chicharron or something.
Yeah. So are you saying that too?
I'll say, mine is very specific though, and I've talked about it before, but the cinnamon roll at the California State Fair, unmatched. To me, it's incredible.
Okay.
It's in one of the expo buildings. Top tier.
Okay.
Tier. But I don't think you can go wrong with like a churro or I'm a turkey leg guy too.
Can I be honest?
Go down on a turkey leg. Don't cut that.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Luckily, I think I might have talked over it, but Nate, check it. Pull me from the audio.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've never had the turkey leg, and I think I'm gonna have it this weekend. Yeah. So I don't think wifey's listening.
I think
she's
you have
far
to
too busy working.
get it at a good spot.
So I'm surprising them, and we're going to the pumpkin patch in Wheatland.
Oh, really?
And they got the turkey leg there.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's gonna be on social media. I'm gonna eat my turkey leg. I'm going Guy Fieri out there.
Is that why you're going? Not to surprise them, just to eat the turkey
leg. They can have fun too.
Yeah.
She's gonna be videoing me, but they can have fun too. Baby Sal's gonna be in the video too.
You guys like Dole Whip?
Yes,
I do.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Disneyland thing specifically, but I think other places have started to adopt it. But
I had it in
good.
Hawaii once. But
I could see that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good. It's a pretty unique thing.
I like it. Yeah.
Amid Rock is talking about the turkey leg. Farmer is saying the funnel cake and churro is being brought up as well. Well, as we're talking,
not a big lemonade guy, but a lot of people swear by Carnival lemonades, like fair lemonades.
We got one. I don't know if they accidentally gave us a diet, but we got one at the
diet lemonade.
This was it was either the county or the state fair. I went to both, so I get them confused.
Yeah, right.
And it just wasn't hitting.
Yeah.
It was a little bit watery. And I'm thinking this should, if anything, this should be too sour or too sweet or give me something here. So maybe I got a bad batch. But speaking of sweet and sour, we've been seeing more sour from the Sacramento Kings during the preseason, guys. They are defeated. They do not have a win. They are 0-4. They lose to the Utah Jazz. Oh my goodness, Keontae George.
Man,
they got a guy
that little pump fake.
He was good last year. What is he? 20 years old or something ridiculous like that. This is what we're talking about with the Western Conference. You lost to the Blazers, and that was more of an effort thing. But even when you bring the effort, better effort last night, but the shot wasn't falling. They shoot the three at 26% last night, which is not even a good batting. Well, I guess nowadays it is. It's a decent batting average, but a terrible 3-point percentage. They lose to the Jazz. Weird play at the end of the game. Keegan doesn't want to shoot. They don't know what they're doing there. De'Aaron Fox gets fouled. Then it was on the floor. Then it was a three. Then it was on the floor. They lose 117-114. And as Carmichael Dave asked us during the crosstalk, Chris, I'm not panicking, but I'm really hoping they're getting all this garbage out early. This transition period that we talked about, it's funny when you know something is coming, but then it happens and you still react the way you said you wouldn't react. That's what I'm trying to fight right now, Chris Watkins. How are you feeling after the Kings losing another one, albeit preseason? But there have been some moments, but these are two games now where it wasn't, hey, we were winning, and we're just going to assume that we would have won the game even though we took the starters out.
Sure.
That's not what's happening these last two games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not freaking out that much. I've seen it on both sides of the equation. Like, I've seen Kings teams go undefeated in preseason and then have 35 win seasons, and I've seen them not so recently. I'm looking at the Beam Team season. Funny enough, in the first Beam Team season, they went 4-0 in the preseason, and then obviously had the season they did last year. They go 1-4 in the preseason, and I don't necessarily think that was any indication of the team that it was going to be. I just don't really believe that preseason results are all that much indicative of how your regular season's going to be. But I will say that yesterday is the first game where the loss itself, you can't put to preseason reasons. Like you said, like it's not an effort thing. It's not necessarily that it was the preseason and so they didn't give 100% or anything like that. To me, the reason why you can say, and I would love to hear, as we have people on for maybe the next week or so, just ask them what their thoughts on if preseason matters and why it is they feel that way. But for me, it's more of just but typically, in the third quarter, your rotation isn't going to call for Mason Jones, Isaac Jones, Alex Len, and Colby Jones to check in. Typically, you'll go with your actual backup unit. Last night, they actually ran their players. They ran Sabonis. They ran Fox. They ran DeRozan. The closing lineup had Monk and Murray in it. There's not really much of that was preseason excuse for yesterday, except for the fact that, they just didn't make shots. And you have to believe that for some reason in the regular season, those shots are going to go down. But I think that yesterday is probably the toughest one to defend if you are going to say, preseason doesn't matter. To me, yesterday is probably the closest it gets to mattering. And I'm still not super worried by it. It's just one game. They only ended up losing by 3, even though I would say in total they played a pretty shaky game. But yeah, I mean, I think in total I'm not super stressed. But yesterday was definitely not ideal, but still wasn't terrible.
The Jazz didn't shoot a ton of threes, but they shoot it efficiently, 40%. They were 14 of 35. Again, that bugaboo with the Kings and their three-point defense. The Kings, like I mentioned, 26.3. Don't forget the point 3. 10 out of 38 from three-point land. Lauri Markkanen, who was one of the hottest, sexiest names during this offseason, 21 points. And he does it. He shoots 3 of 6 from three-point land. He goes 10 of 10, Chris, from the free throw line. I thought you had to miss one.
Yeah,
I thought you literally
you
had to miss
CBA,
one.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's part of one of the aprons. It's the miss apron.
Yes, yeah.
So you can't make all your free throws. So he did that. Like I said, Keontae George, I'm very high on this guy. He's in my Tyrese Maxey, just guys that I like to watch, and I have no connection to them.
We should make that list before the season starts.
We need a better name for that list, but
we'll
just
call it like our league pass list.
Yeah, I like that. Look at Chris. He brings in the pumpkins. He's in the spirit. He's coming up with new segments. 24 points for Keontae George, and the dog of all dogs, Colin Sexton, with 16 points.
You and Malik were talking yesterday. That was pretty great.
Oh yeah, that famous scene from Colin when he's staring at somebody. So that I think that alone made his career and helped get him drafted.
Colin Sexton, is he the NBA Spencer Rattler? My article coming next.
Why? Because he had all that hype?
The hype, and they both are talkers.
Yeah.
That's literally the only connection. It feels
like Colin works harder
both
than
of them
Rattler.
were a lot more hyped in high school than it feels like they are now.
Yes.
I digress.
John Collins, 12 points. Jordan Clarkson. What are we doing with Jordan Clarkson at this point? 11 points for him. Your boy, Chris, Cody Williams, 1 of 2 from three-point land. He was a +8 on the day, 6 points. I like what I see from him as we run through the Kings. DeMar DeRozan, 17 points, 0 for 1 from 3. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Keegan Murray, 21 points, 5 of 11 from three-point land. Domantas Sabonis, he got that 1-3, Chris, and he went off. It's a good thing I switched to that over during Prop Talk. 29 points. What do you have? 13 in the first quarter? Something crazy like that. Keon Ellis and Chris and I have kind of been going back and forth on Keon Ellis and how important it is for him to get going offensively. 4 points. He only shot the ball 3 times, and he shot 1 3-pointer. De'Aaron Fox, Chris, 22 points, but I'm being completely honest with you, and we got to get to it on the other side. This kind of reminded me, and we're going to talk a lot of De'Aaron Fox today, by the way. ESPN came out with their next list of the top 100, and like we mentioned, De'Aaron Fox is mentioned. Okay, that means he was mentioned pretty darn early, and we have Swaggy P and different people talking about De'Aaron Fox and whether or not he's underrated, overrated, what is going to be next for De'Aaron Fox. But De'Aaron Fox, Chris, this line to me, 22 points, and then you're 2 of 9 from three-point land, that gave me the heebie-jeebies from last year. That really looked like a last season line that I thought we were going to get away from. He's going to have to shoot in volume sometimes, but didn't love that. We will get to the rest of the game on the other side and why I'm starting to worry about the Kings draft pick. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Check out Sacramento State football this Saturday, 6 p.m. versus Weber State.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
$11:30, Fright Fest. Grab your loved one, dress up like Michael Jackson at Thriller, and they might have some of these carnival eats that we're talking about. 209 says monster corn dog. UPS Chris says gotta be the turkey leg. As in the first segment, we asked, what is your favorite amusement park / carnival food? 916, another corn dog.
People
Shout.
love them some corn dogs.
Let me tell you this right now. And you can judge me. You know what they say, never trust a man that doesn't like a corn dog.
Do they really?
I've never.
I was like, I've never heard that before.
But I'm not in. I've never been in.
I can
I've never, you know
yeah,
why?
It's not that I dislike, I just never seek out.
You know why? When I like a hot dog, I like a grilled hot dog,
Okay.
right? I prefer that.
Yeah.
And it's just, you get to the corn dog, it's just boiled.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm just
cornmeal
out.
and a dog. That's it.
I'm
It's
out.
ketchup
And
mustard.
you know, I know I'm on the wrong side of this. I know.
Yes, yeah. It feels like they kind of have died though. Not died completely, but it feels like, corn dogs used to, hot dog on a stick pretty much is built for corn dog. Like it feels like they don't really have the same kind of pull that they used to.
They're not as hot as they were in the streets in the 90s.
It's a side meal
Maybe that's why
now,
people like them.
Piece.
They're nostalgic.
Maybe, yeah, that
right?
could definitely be it.
I don't know. Amid rock glizzy with the relish and the mustard.
Just an old-fashioned hot dog.
Is that a corn glizzy?
It's gotta be cheap though. That's the problem with hot dogs. Is like you can't go to a carnival and spend like $8 on a hot dog. It's
no,
like come on,
I can't do it.
That thing's like.
But apparently people are.
Do
They
Dippin'
love corn
Dots count? Dippin' Dots,
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
think so.
yes.
I think that's
Dippin'
almost
Dots are
exclusively
fun.
where you can get it now.
Yeah. Dude.
They had Dippin' Dots at the Sacramento Zoo.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I know they have it. They
also
have like
had-
a booth at.
They also had booze.
Oh yeah. No, the
I
Sac.
did not know that.
The
That's
Sac
cool.
Zoo has stepped it up.
I
in
did
the
not
booze
partake
department.
because
Yeah.
mostly because I didn't know.
It's almost like
I didn't see it till we left.
You
And
really
we got there at 9
kind of
o'clock,
can't
so.
go anywhere without seeing a booze stand somewhere at the
Yeah.
like they understand
They had
the
your
assignment.
They had your
Yes.
Trulies
Yes. They get it.
Oh,
They
oh.
got ciders there. I think Golden State ciders out there.
Man.
Shout out.
and
Absolutely.
I would have been. Where's Slamson? Where is Slamson?
I want to feed the gator.
Yeah, give me
Let
that.
me feed the gator.
Is that a gator or a crocodile? Who cares? Give me that fish.
Orangutans love pale ales, dude.
Yeah,
You just give them beers.
a little Pliny the Elder. All right, as we get back into the Kings and what they have and haven't been doing, Chris, I'm gonna say something, and I promise you, we talked about this before the show. I'm not trying to be that guy. Okay. But and Cody Williams, he didn't have an outstanding game, right? But some of these guys that we're seeing we're seeing pop up, that just got drafted and De Silva, some of the guys that you've been really excited
Tejan
about, Chris.
Salon's in the starting lineup for the Charlotte Hornets these days.
But that's what I'm saying, right? And look, some guys they had an opportunity, some guys they didn't. But I'm going to say this, and you can do with it what you want. Devin Carter better be good. He better be good. Because as I'm driving in today, I was listening to Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, and they were talking about how what a lot of us have been talking about when they initially took Devin Carter, that it seems like the Kings have a lot of guys that are similar, right? I mean, and I'm not even talking about the Joneses, the Mason Jones, and I'm not even talking about those guys. But you got Keon Ellis, you bring in Jordan McLaughlin, you still have Devin Carter, and I know everything they do isn't specifically the same, but from a larger standpoint, it kind of is. And I'm not saying that I'm out on the decision. We talked with Monty McNair. We've talked with them on record, off record. We get the thought process. All I'm saying is that Devin Carter It doesn't have to be this year. We don't even know if he's going to play this year, but he better be somebody that is contributing at a pretty high level, because you had an opportunity here. And if any of those guys underneath, we do the same thing every season, not just with the Kings, with everybody else. If any of those guys that from the wing position end up popping, and we're sitting here hoping that Kevin Huerter is going to be good enough from the wing position, and obviously you got DeRozan, and we're hoping Trey Lyles and guys that we've seen before. All I'm saying is that I think it would be a pretty bad look if Devin Carter is kind of Davion Mitchelling his way throughout the Kings the next couple years. I think he's got to be a pretty big impact player next season.
My question would just be, who are the people after him that we're concerned? Because I'm looking at the draft, and to me,
read the names.
So it goes Devin Carter, 13. 14 is Bub Carrington, who's a guard. Khalil Ware's a center. Jared McCain's another guard. Dalton Connect is a guard.
I would put. Okay, well, yes, like I said, yes. If we're saying 18, yeah, if we're saying specifically forwards, like I said, so fine, we can ignore one Jared McCain. That's fine. But I'm looking at, like you said, I'm looking at Khalil Ware. And I know I don't know if a lot is the right term, but there were a decent amount of concerns about his motor. But we watched the tape, and I'm not going to speak for you. I was impressed by the tape, okay? Khalil Ware. Are you calling Dalton Connect a guard?
He's a guard forward, I would say. He's like a Kevin Huerter.
Can I put him in my category?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
The Dalton Connects, your boy Tristan Da Silva.
Sure.
So I'm not saying that there are a ton. I'm just saying that there was a need. If you decide, it's very similar to we did the same thing with the Niners.
Sure, yeah.
If you're going to take Ricky Pearsall when you don't have a need at wide receiver,
right,
this dude better cook.
Sure.
This dude better cook. So I was thinking about that when I was driving in, and I know that we kind of had the conversation and you helped walk me off of it, right? As we kind of talked about the details, and, Devin Carter says he can guard a 3, so that helps too.
Sure.
And I'm just saying, okay, we got to see it. And obviously coming in injured doesn't help. Maybe I wouldn't be tripping as much if I was getting to watch this.
I think so.
But I was just thinking as I was listening to the guys driving in, and some of the other dudes we've seen ball out a little bit, just, all right, let's hope Devin Carter, he works out. And look, there's no way for us to know.
Right.
We have no clue, but it could come off as a pretty bad look if it does.
I think it's a very fair concern. I don't think you have anything to worry about in terms of like that being insane, or like, I think it's a very fair concern to say, exactly like you laid out. Like, to me, I think the 49ers comp is a perfect one where, it's just, there was such a clear and obvious need, and a lot of people say, hey, you don't draft for need, you draft best player available. And I think that's kind of where you can start your argument. Well, it's like, well, then he better have been the best player truly available at that spot, because they did have some actual real needs that they could have answered with that pick, or by trading that pick or anything, just using that pick in a different way. The crazy thing / sad thing is we're not really going to know for a really long time. And I think it's something that we probably won't get an answer on until probably next season, like halfway through next season. We'll probably have a much better grasp of, okay, where is Devin Carter currently versus where we see him being projected out to. But you're right. Like, if Devin Carter ends up being essentially, we'll just call him the same caliber player as a Davion Mitchell, that's a miss. And that's something that would have to be talked about when it comes to potentially, if you're evaluating Monty McNair, as we're supposed to do, as no matter what Jerry Jones says, it's what we're supposed to do as on-air talents here, is we're supposed to talk about, the success and failures of a GM's picks. And it's totally fair to question Monty McNair if it doesn't work out. The sad, terrible thing, part of it is, we're not going to find out for a while, but I do think it's a very legitimate concern to have, especially when you think about, we don't really talk about the Kings championship window, but, DeMar is an older guy here. And yes, I think he's going to be healthy this year. He's been healthy for a huge portion of his career. But, as you start creeping into the age 36, age 37, maybe even age 38 season, things start to get a lot more immediate in terms of the impact that you need. And that's really where, like you said, hopefully Devin Carter is going to be ready to go, and hopefully he's the guy that they say and think he is, because they're going to need him really soon here.
Yeah, it just got me thinking, and he's a guy who at this point, I sound like Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy that the Kings are going to need. I would say this season, but I'm not going to put that on him because I just have no clue when he's going to be ready to go.
That's
so
not fair.
This is from the 209. Y'all, here we go again. This is from the Fox stuff. Look, the Fox conversation has really heated up yesterday from the Shams news that dropped. 209. Y'all have blinders on. Devin is basically they're saying Fox replacement, and which is I'm sorry, 209.
Way too far ahead of yourself there.
And even if that's I don't think that's a great again when it comes to proven talent in the league versus talent you think is going to happen. I'll put it to you like this, 209. If you even wanted to have that conversation, Devin Carter would have had to play this year. Yeah. Because you're not going if De'Aaron Fox gets all NBA and he's eligible for the max, you're telling me that they're going to say no for a dude that they maybe watched play for 4 months? Not going to happen, 209. Maybe I would even fathom what you're talking about if Devin Carter was healthy right now and cooking. But you're not going to let one of the biggest stars that the city has ever had. You want to talk about Tyrese Halliburton? If you moved off of Tyrese, that would be insanity. And you talk about Jerry going hard on 105.3 The Fan. There would be the mob outside of Golden One. It's just not going to happen.
I think you missed the end of that text too. If you look really closely, it says Fryer. Right at the end, it just says Fryer.
Fryer from the 209. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
All right, Nate's giving me the Damian Lillard and or the Tyrese Halliburton. On the other side, Bleacher Report says why the Kings and all NBA teams, they give reasons why each team won't win a championship. Let's see what they have to say. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for this Wednesday afternoon, and temperatures will peak in the upper 70s, close to average. Expect clearing skies overnight tonight and a drop in the temperatures to the 50s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento in Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy 1, get 1 free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
From the 5-3-0, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just enamored with the De'Aaron Fox
the text
narrative.
Line blown up just in that break.
Yeah, 5-3-0, and I don't know if I need to read all of it. I mean, this is crazy. And here's the thing. Before I read this 5-3-0, can you answer whether or not you're a Kings fan? Because this is what the 5-3-0 is saying. If Fox gets the 5-year Supermax, it will be one of the worst contracts in NBA history. Only Supermax player to not get out of the first round and sign a shoe contract with his rival team. That sounds like a Kings.
What about Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine?
Fox is the most overrated.
Making sense.
Yeah.
Fox is the most overrated player in the NBA. 5-3-0, please just tell us, are you a Kings fan or not?
Doesn't sound like one.
I'm confused because, the signing the shoe contract with the rival team, that either sounds like you're a Warriors fan and you're hating, or you're a Kings fan and you're hating.
This is a 916?
No,
5-3-0. The dirty 530.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Upper North.
That's what it's called.
Upper North. 5-3-0. Please tell us, are you a Kings fan? Because if there is no way on this green earth that De'Aaron Fox is the most overrated player in the NBA. And once again, as we mentioned, this is not about the Kings overpaying De'Aaron Fox. This is about the TV deals and where these contracts are headed. If De'Aaron Fox is getting $350 million, whatever it is, when Victor Wembanyama gets his, this brother is getting $700 million.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. This is not about De'Aaron Fox being overpaid. Yeah. Everybody is going to match this.
De'Aaron Fox will be the highest paid player in the NBA
for
a week, maybe for a day. max a year. Like, he's not going to be the highest paid player in the NBA a year after he signs the contract.
530 says since 88, Arco Arena. So
Okay.
530 is a Kings fan, by the way.
Okay.
Most overrated player in NBA?
Yeah, no,
You're
that's
saying, well,
insane.
you already got other cities and talking heads talking bad about Sacramento and the Kings. What is this friendly fire? How is he the most overrated when he never gets talked about?
How?
He never gets talked about. All right. We see you, Michael, on the line, but first let's get to this BR article about why the Kings and all other NBA teams, not just the Kings, but one reason why each team won't win a championship.
Yes, and this article is meant to upset you. So, if you do get upset,
Well,
don't get
530 already
too
did
upset.
that.
Yeah, there you go. The title of the article is why your favorite team won't win the NBA championship this year. And so, again, take that in mind, is that they're looking for the negatives here. This is not them, just casually hating on the Kings or anything. The point of the exercise is to look for holes.
Mhm.
So don't get too upset. Of course, you can still get fiery.
Okay.
Still have your thoughts. But in a nutshell, you're defining this is really crazy. In a nutshell, you're defining offseason acquisition is a ball-dominant, non-floor spacing 35-year-old. Again, they're trying to keep it as blunt.
They're off to a good
They're
start.
trying to keep it as blunt and honest as possible, or as real as they want to say. The write-up is a long one, but I'll just kind of do the spark notes. Despite the continued moaning and groaning about the Sacramento Kings needing one more stopper, which, by the way, they still do, they also needed an offensive infusion, someone else who can self-create and table set against set defenses and actually get to the foul line. DeMar DeRozan addresses all of those things. The thing is, he arguably creates more issues. Demand national media members like myself consider ball and body movement and staggering patterns as an antidote to spatial redundancies as you like. That plus industrial-sized bottle of Jergens will give you the resources necessary to power through the inevitable disappointment. Wow, this is quite an article here.
Your favorite.
Let's see here. Put it another way. Together, they provide about the same level of floor spacing and efficiency as Karis LeVert. Does that sound like a $65 million plus player to you? Minutes with DeRozan and Sabonis on the floor could be particularly cramped. They combined to nail 108 threes last season. That would have tied for 109th among total long-range makes. That's very specific. Let's not discuss the disaster scenario on defense. Certain fans truly seem to believe DeRozan will be an upgrade from Harrison Barnes, even though he won't. And that Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis are modern-day Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on the less glamorous end. It's an interesting set of convictions. Let's wait and see how it doesn't work out for them.
Dang.
So there you go. That is, again, they are trying to be negative there. And I think they definitely
Probably a
did.
fun article to write.
It's got to be a
You just get to be a hater.
You're literally just like, what would set off this fan base more than anything if I tell them that the Hall of Famer they got actually is washed and is actually going to hurt your team, and that your two favorite young players, you think they're Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, but they're just regular NBA players is really where this is getting at. And again, the point of the exercise is to kind of rile you up a bit, but let's try and make that into let's just put it into more realist terms, I guess.
Sure.
If DeMar DeRozan is this team's actual third scorer, because let's say he doesn't fit into the offense, let's say, he doesn't shoot the volume of threes in which maybe the Kings are accustomed to, and let's just say, Domantas Sabonis, he had a crazy night last night offensively. Let's say Sabonis takes a step forward in his scoring and De'Aaron continues to score at the level that we're accustomed to. If DeMar DeRozan is a 18 to 19 point per game scorer, and defensively, he just, he's just whatever. He's just there. He's not an improvement on Harrison Barnes. Maybe he's even a little bit worse. Maybe his foot speed isn't there.
But okay.
I'm just trying to see if I can see that possibility. I just don't. Not with a healthy DeMar. I think that he's just an offensive weapon, 100%. You could put him anywhere, have him finish at the rim. These ISOs that he's creating. Last night's not the best example, but this is, you won't win a championship. Sure. I mean, I think that already is a bit of a fever dream, but I just don't really see that DeMar's being ball dominant. I don't see the floor spacing being an issue so far in the preseason. I do think the Keegan and Keon thing is definitely interesting, more so on the fact that this team is definitely relying on them quite a bit on the defensive end. And maybe that's not the best thing to have your second and third year players kind of be your anchors defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I could see how maybe that is probably the most real thing, but the DeMar part to me, I just, I get that that's probably the thing that they figure really goes for the heart the most for Kings fans. But to me, I think saying that Keegan and Keon just won't really be as impactful as what we think. That to me is the part that I really think if that doesn't happen, I think that's actually how the Kings do have a really tough season is, you, like you said, you brought it up earlier. If Keon is just unimpactful, if his defense isn't what it was last year and he's kind of an afterthought on offense, that's a problem. And if Keegan doesn't just further his development, if he just kind of stagnates, that's really where the Kings maybe fall short of expectations.
Yeah, to me, the biggest thing as far as the Kings are concerned that worries me is not their ability to score the basketball. It's the ability to stop the other team from scoring. This is going to be a track meet every game, and then they're going to have some days where they're just not as hot from three. And, I know we've kind of talked about the not lack of three-point shooting, but how it can be hot and cold. And a lot of their three-point shooting does come off the bench. And if they're not able to get this three-point shooting defense handled, or just their defense in general, and every game is a track meet with somebody like DeMar DeRozan, I could see that being a problem. But offensively, I'm not terribly worried, at least not yet. Michael, we see you on the line. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to you right after we get back. And coming up next, we also have Tom Brady as a new owner as the Raiders. Literally, and Mark Davis basically saying Tom Brady is going to help draft the next QB. Well, what are we talking about? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1. Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
It's 4th and goal. The pressure's on. The home team needs this to win it. No matter what you're up against, it's always a win at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Special finance options and trade-in offers make it easier than ever to upgrade your ride. Because at Stockton Honda, we believe everyone deserves a winning deal.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
The Sacramento State Hornets are back at home this Saturday. Come check out the high-flying Hornets as they host the Weber State Wildcats. It's homecoming, so come check out some great football and stay for the post-game fireworks. That's Saturday, October 19th, as the Hornets take on Weber State, Hornet Stadium, 6 o'clock. Tickets on sale now at hornetsports.com. And remember, Stingers up.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Nine 916-339-1140. And let me tell you this right now, 11 o'clock. De'Aaron Fox has been, this is the most, Chris, we've talked about De'Aaron Fox. We did it during the summer, and obviously while the season is going on, and De'Aaron had his ups and downs last season, highest points per game, started out very hot from three-point land, cooled off a little bit. We've talked about De'Aaron and I'm just now remembering, what was it? Post-game gate or who's podium gate, who's going to the podium, do the Kings have a leadership problem, things like that. It all circulates around one De'Aaron Fox. So at 11 o'clock, ESPN, they reveal their next set of players as they count down from 100 to 1, their top 100 players in the NBA. And where does De'Aaron Fox fall? Where does Domantas Sabonis fall? We have all that coming up at 11, so don't go anywhere. And Michael hasn't gone anywhere, 916-339-1140. And Michael wants to talk Devin Carter. What's up, Michael? You're on Stiles Watkins. What you got for us?
Good morning, everyone. I'm a big draft guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jason Thompson, Quincy Doobies, Francis Guy, the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, with Monty, it's just like a no-brainer picks with Murray. Halliburton dropped to us. Davion was a really, we could have picked Zaire Williams. I guess my point is, you cannot teach height. You cannot teach wingspan.
Yeah.
And I think that him being at 6'2", I was all in. I was like, at least he's a little taller than Davion Mitchell. And then he goes out and they're like, oh, they knew he was injured. And I'm like, I'm trying to support this guy here. He's a dog on defense. He can dunk the ball. His dad was a former player. And then he's out there for 6 months, and now they're saying he's potentially out. So I'm looking at Monty like, I don't know if it's our scouting department or whatnot, because we had a guy from Folsom High, my alma mater, Folsom High, Jalen Wells. I don't know if you guys heard about him. He's 30. He was the 39th overall pick in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
We traded Jalen McDaniels and a second round pick away. And I'll ask a question offline, but it's just I just don't get it. We're just picking all these small guys, and it's like, just take a hit on even Terrence Shannon on the Timberwolves. He's 6'7". I know he had some allegations, but he beat them. But it's like 6'7", 6'8". You can't teach that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a guy in our backyard at Folsom High, and he's putting up 12, 24 on the Memphis Grizzlies. We got to look into that. But I guess I'll take this question offline about my friend just texted me like, we traded a second round pick and Jalen McDaniels. I'm like, why do we trade the second round pick? There can be gems in there.
Right.
But I guess we're making cap space. So wanted to check in with you guys to see, are we actually going for Levine or Ingram? And I don't know. I just wanted to see if you guys might know about that. But thanks, guys. I'll take it off.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Great stuff. And this guy knows his draft. This guy knows his draft. Well, Michael, we had Sean Cunningham on yesterday, who really started the conversation of this is part 1 of 2 as the Kings move off of Jalen McDaniels. And to put it short, and you can check out the whole interview on Sacktown Sports app, and also it's on our YouTube. It's doing pretty good numbers so far because a lot of people wanted to know what Sean Cunningham had to say. Spark Notes version for you, Michael, is that Sean Cunningham said it's possible that the Kings do take a swing. He also went on to say that the Kings, it was pretty well documented that the Kings were interested in Brandon Ingram, but bringing in DeMar DeRozan probably kills that dream. So Sean essentially said what we said a couple days ago. This is going to be a Jay Crowder type guy, somebody that is going to bring some experience, and or I guess Chris and Isaiah Livers. Maybe there's some found money there, but it's not. To answer your question, Michael, anything's possible. And Zach LaVine actually balled out a couple days ago, Chris. Yeah. He went crazy, but doesn't seem like it's going to be. And I know the aggregators, they put Brandon Ingram and Zach LaVine in Kings jerseys. Probably not going to be one of those guys. Most likely not.
I can almost say it's definitely not going to be a Zach LaVine. I mean, the Kings still, even if they create cap space, they still have to match the salary in order to trade him. And that's the part where it's
Where are
pretty
you getting
much
that?
impossible. I mean, yeah, Zach LaVine is still making, I can't even remember how much it is. We were talking about it all throughout the summer. I think is it in the 50s? Is it in the 40s? I think
It's
I wanna
high
say it's in the-
40s. Yeah, low 50s.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings would have to trade one of their three pillars, DeMar, De'Aaron, or Domas, in order to get one of those guys, or they could bring Kevin Huerter and like literally package just about everybody. I know Kevin makes about 14 and Trey makes about 7 or 8. It would take pretty much combining a ton of contracts in order to reach that kind of
Then
number.
you have no bench.
Yeah, and then you got no bench. Long story short, yeah, I mean, like you said, Sean pretty much laid it out for us, and we've talked to a couple other people who are in the know, and they pretty much say what Sean said yesterday. It's not that they're saying it's not going to happen, but that is not the intention. Like, the move was not made with the intention of making some big move. Now, that might happen, but more than likely this is, hey, the Kings now have 2 open roster spots, and they have a little bit of cap space here to work with, where they could bring in some of these lower caliber guys if they so want. And yeah, I think the Devin Carter stuff that Michael was getting into is definitely interesting. I just would say, just don't be impatient. Like, not saying like, Michael, relax, but I just think that it's, it's very unfortunate Devin Carter won't be able to play this first season or for a majority of this first season, at least until February. But that really doesn't mean much of anything for his career. Devin Carter can definitely be he could be the best player from this draft and miss his entire first season. There's no reason to make any sort of proclamations about Devin Carter yet. There's no reason to be upset about the pick. There's no reason to be excited about the pick or over the top excited about the pick. You just don't know, and missing this amount of action really doesn't mean anything for his NBA future. And so I would just wait on any sort of overreaction to that selection. I just think that the jury is still out on it, and all the signs are very positive. I mean, everything in the pre-draft, now I know it might actually be a warning sign to some people, but pretty much everything in the pre-draft was, yeah, this kid is at least going to be something, if not a really high impact role player. I mean, all of his NBA comps are ones that you would definitely want. The Carusos, the Derek Whites, the Josh Harts even of the world. I just feel like when he is suited up for this team, I think all the questions are going to go out the door. And I think he's going to be an impact player that really the Kings don't really have. I mean, much is talked about his height. I mean, yeah, he's 6'2", he's got a 6'8" wingspan, but he also had the second or the actual highest vertical jump in the NBA draft. And so I kind of think people are still sleeping on just the overall athlete that Devin Carter is. He doesn't really show it off much with, 360s or windmills or between the legs or anything like that. But that guy absolutely has some crazy hops, and he uses his athleticism more so on the defensive end than on the offensive end.
Yeah, I would say this, Chris, just quickly getting back to Zach LaVine. He is getting paid $43 million this season. Next season, $45.9 million.
Yeah, no
and then he's got a player option, as you love to say, Chris. He just opted into $48.9 million.
Yikes.
And then
That's
27
2 years from now?
Yeah, 27, 28, he'll be 32 years old. Then he'll be an unrestricted free agent. And I'll just retire.
Why? Yeah, why
I mean,
keep
I'm
playing at
on
that
my
point?
Salah.
You made $200 million.
Yeah, I'm on my Salah
You're
at
32 years
that
old.
that
Come
point.
on.
So yeah, that I mean, just off the top of our heads, because we have done this a ton of times. What Kevin isn't Kevin in the teens?
Kevin's at 14 or 15.
And Trey's at 8.
Trey's at like 7 or 8.
There's just no way to get there.
So that's 20. You're halfway there.
Yeah. There's just there's
you just have
nobody
to
there.
Stack up literally all of your contracts.
Yeah. And
maybe
then
you can do a 3-team deal. No, I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right?
Right. The Braden Ingram thing made more sense, but to Sean's point, very similar guys, I would say, DeMar DeRozan and Brandon Ingram.
I mean, it's going to be like a Dorian Finney-Smith or a Cam Johnson if it is going to be a quote-unquote big name. I think it's going to be somebody that, it's going to be $20 million or less, just because I can't see them doing a wholesale change to this roster when they really haven't even gotten a look at it. And I think either Sean said it or I think it might have even been Dave that said it. And we can, if Dave did say it to us in the pre-show, he's going to be gone for a week and a half. So he can get mad at us.
He also, Dave on social media said, I think it's going to be a 4. And then everybody said, big name 4s, not your Jay Crowder.
Right. Yes. But Dave also told us that pretty much like the Jalen a lot of people are saying, oh, the Kings made a let's just call it a spur of the moment decision to cut Jay Crowder to cut Jalen McDaniels. So that must mean that they have something planned. Essentially what we were told is, No, they've been trying to move off of Jalen McDaniels pretty much since they got him.
Yes.
It just took this long for it to happen.
They were looking for a team.
Yes, I think a lot of people are saying, much like the DeRozan thing, they've circled a move they want to make, but in order to make that move, they have to do this first. That's not the case. It's just that this took a really long time to do, like a month and a half to do. And so people, I think, are drawing that this happens, so this happens. But in actuality, it's just, no, this happened.
Right. And as you talk about, there's cap space, and then there's also matching the contracts. Cam Johnson is at $23.6 million. So we've done this exercise before, but fine, you can get there with Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. But to me, you always have to ask the question, and this is what a lot of people don't do. You got to ask the question, what does the other team want? If Jordy and the Nets are in the business of, are they trying to capture the flag, whatever they're trying to do, and get Cooper Flagg, the highly touted future draft pick out of Duke, bringing Trey Lyles and Kevin Huerter doesn't help anything. It doesn't really help anything.
Might help you get the flag.
You said it, not me. And they're going to want a draft pick too. Because they're young. They're trying to, at that point, they're starting over. So you can it's one thing to hop in, and I do it myself. So I'm not saying I'm any better than you listening in your car or watching on YouTube or wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening. I do it too. But when you put stuff in the trade generator, you also got to think about, would the other team want to do this? Because if everybody is saying, I want to do this, but there's no reason the other team would want to do it, clearly that deal is not a deal that's going to work. Coming up next, it is time to reveal ESPN their next block of top 100 players. Where does De'Aaron Fox land? Where does DeMar DeRozan land? Where does Domantas Sabonis land? And that leads us to an uncomfortable conversation about Swipa the Fox. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named a top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at HagenOaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the upcoming holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last, complete with a lifetime warranty. all made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just because it's October does not mean we can't barbecue outside. Visit California Backyard now for your best selection of grills and Napoleon Grills accessories.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Hour one in the books. If you're just getting into your car, you just dropped off the kiddos. I guess that would have been a late start at school, but daycare, something like that, or just leaving the grocery store, you can check out Hour one on Sacktown Sports app, YouTube as well, because Hour two is going to be a doozy. And it starts off, Chris, with the second part of ESPN's top 100 list. We saw Malik Monk and Keegan Murray go yesterday. Keegan Murray in the 90s, which was ridiculous. Malik Monk in the 60s.
I believe so. I think he was 65, if I remember correctly.
And now, as they reveal 50 through 11,
yeah,
where do our Sacramento Kings land?
I think yesterday I guessed that DeMar DeRozan would be mid to high 30s, and I think I said Sabonis and Fox would both be somewhere hovering near the mid to low 20s. Mm-hmm. And let's just say I was wrong. I think on all of those fronts. Let's start here at number 50 because we're not going to carry on for much longer after that. For this first name, at least. You have LaMelo Ball falling in at number 50. You have Aaron Gordon at number 49. Julius Randle of the Minnesota Timberwolves at 48. Number 47, you have a guy that I'm going to be incredibly high on this year. I'm just letting you all know, Evan Mobley. I'm expecting a big Evan Mobley season this year. And 46 is Kristaps Porzingis. I stopped there because you can figure out the rest. As number 45 is one DeMar DeRozan, where we get our first of the Kings' big three. And for those who weren't with us yesterday, this is a top 100 list that ESPN puts together. They have their expert panel vote on player versus player. Voters were asked, quote, which player will be better in 24-25? So this is more of a prediction article than a where is the current state of the NBA. So if you get really frustrated by maybe someone like DeMar DeRozan finishing 45, maybe it's just that they think he's going to take a little bit of a step back, being the primary scorer for the Bulls last year and being possible second or third option for Sacramento this year. Again, DeMar DeRozan falls at number 45 on this year's list. He was 39 on last year's list. So a little bit of a fall, but again, a different role this season. So you can understand why that is. And at least it's not a very big fall. The write-up from Kendra Andrews: with the Bulls last season, DeRozan had to shoulder all of the offensive weight. He was the only player in Chicago to average over 20 per game as the injury-riddled Bulls struggled all year. As he begins a new chapter in Sacramento, the Kings will look to maximize his offensive talents, draw double teams to help take pressure off of Fox and Sabonis. The team will also use DeRozan as a playmaker, an area of his game Sacramento feels is underrated. At number 45, your Sacramento Kings forward, DeMar DeRozan. Number 44, Jalen Williams. Number 43, DeJounte Murray. And number 42, Pascal Siakam as well. Then we go and look for one Domantas Sabonis, who thankfully you have to scroll down just a little bit for. He's not in the 30s. He is, let's see here. Number 32, you have Chet Holmgren. Number 31, you have Jamal Murray. Number 30, you have one Karl Anthony Towns. And then at number 29 is where you find one Domantas Sabonis. last season ranked number 22. Alan, please explain to me how somebody almost averages a triple-double, led the league in triple-doubles and double-doubles, and yet falls 7 spots lower than they were the previous season. The write-up, again, from one Kendra Andrews. When you look at Sabonis' numbers from last season, it's not easy to comprehend why he dropped, and look at that, they address it right away, why he dropped 7 positions in the rankings. He led the league in triple-doubles and double-doubles, 26 triple-doubles, 77 out of a possible 82 double-doubles, and strung together 61 consecutive double-doubles, the longest streak in modern NBA history. From January to the end of the season, he led the league in assists, period. Full stop. Not for centers, not for, guys who also averaged 20 a game. From January till the end of the season, Domantas Sabonis led the NBA in assists. But he and the Kings enter this season under a microscope after not making the playoffs last season and have more pressure to prove they are still in the mix for the top of the Western Conference. Again, Domantas Sabonis falls at number 29, was number 22 last year. Jimmy Butler falls at 28. Zion Williamson at 27. And then our guy De'Aaron Fox falls at number 26, falling 3 spots from last year's position. And again, the write-up from one Kendra Andrews. Fox got off to a hot start last season, averaging 31.8 points per game through his first 7 games, including a 43-point game against the Spurs. He finished the season averaging 26.6 per game and led the NBA in steals with 2 per game. Despite the continued improvement of the Kings' lead guard, the team couldn't match the postseason success it had in 2023. Some of the names directly in front of Fox, he is sandwiched between Zion and Kyrie Irving at number 25, Paolo Banchero at number 24, Damian Lillard at number 23, Kawhi Leonard at number 22, Paul George at number 21.
What year is it?
Come on. What are we talking about?
Look, man.
John Moran at number 20. Tyrese Maxey at number 19.
You said that just to tick me off with the John. And the John Moran, I can't even really get mad at the John Moran stuff, to be honest.
Tyrese Halliburton number 16.
That's... You know what, though, Chris? And I'm going to take this...
Apparently, I don't know anything.
I'm going to take this in a different way because we have some audio from Swaggy P in the next segment that is going to basically, I guess, explain what he thinks happening in these situations, right? And he says some things about Sacramento, but, compared to what others have said, it's been worse. Yeah. So we'll
he's
get
on
to
the Gilbert Arena show.
Exactly.
So he couldn't say something positive.
Yes, they literally made him do it. So we'll connect those dots in about 10 minutes here. But to me, Chris, the most egregious one is Domantas Sabonis by far. I mean, I don't even really understand what and I'm not, look, Kendra Andrews, got love for Kendra Andrews. Yeah. Do not have a problem. We see her at games.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't think she puts the list together either.
Right. I think what it is whatever your area is.
Exactly.
You kind of say what your thought process, your thought process is. But I'm just not really understanding. But he and the Kings enter the season under a microscope after not making the playoffs and have more pressure. So all this stuff. So you're saying he dropped because he didn't make the playoffs, or you think they're going to be worse? Yeah. There's actually nothing about his gameplay here. Like they don't even necessarily say, well, he dropped because is it empty calories or whatever it is. They just say, we know he has all this, but the Kings have to make the playoffs. And then again,
this is supposed to be a projection too. So
right, you're saying they're not going to
make the playoffs again?
You're not going to make the playoffs. And then in front of that, you have Jimmy Butler, who I can't remember the last time Jimmy Butler played. Zion Williamson, I can't remember the last time Zion Williamson played. Then you get De'Aaron Fox. Kyrie Irving's at the table. Thank you.
I was waiting for it.
Kyrie Irving is a number 2. Paolo Banchero, I love Paolo Banchero, no problems there.
Great.
Damian Lillard,
come on. He had such a terrible year last year. That's crazy.
Terrible year. The most I see Dame, and I got love for Oakland.
We all love Dame.
The last time I see Dame is he's either rapping or tweeting about the Raiders. That's how often I see Dame.
For some reason, asking him about his divorce.
Yeah, or his divorce, or is he hanging out with Glorilla? That's the only time I see Dame. Kawhi Leonard, knees are dust. Paul George, hyperextension. We
in the preseason.
He might even be a third option. John Moran, when he, I'm not gonna. I had something. I was gonna say I had something in the holster there, but that doesn't seem right. John Moran. Really, we're gonna put John Moran at 20. Tyrese Maxey. I love Tyrese Maxey.
Sure.
Bam, fine.
He's a number
Donovan,
2,
fine. Tyrese Halliburton, we understand. He dresses like Where's Waldo. So people like that. I don't have a problem with the guys in front of them, really. But to me, the Damian Lillards of the world, Chris, back in the day when you would have a AT&T or whatever wireless, and they would say, "Oh, you still get unlimited minutes because you're grandfathered in."
Yes.
That's what we're doing with the Damian Lillards and the Kawhi Leonards, and to a lesser degree, I'm not going to disrespect Paul George,
right?
But the Damian Lillards and the Kawhi Leonards of the world, and Kyrie Irving, I could go back and forth on. They are grandfathered in to being top 30 and top 25.
Top 25,
and we're wondering when you go into the store and say, "Oh yeah, we changed the plan. Your grandfather, it doesn't work anymore. You have to buy this new plan." When is that going to happen? This
got to be this year.
This isn't.
It has to be.
When the last time these guys should have been, it was Singular Wireless. That's what it was.
Yep.
I was playing Snake on my phone. What are we talking about here? But I'm gonna put it to you like this, Chris. As far as De'Aaron Fox is concerned, this is on him because there is something to what Swaggy P said.
Sure.
You are in Sacramento, okay? You have to fight through that. So I can sit here and complain about these dudes, or De'Aaron Fox can help us help you when it comes to complaining about De'Aaron getting this respect or not getting this respect. When you have opportunities, when you have big games, show up and show out, and you'll get that respect. Nobody's talking about, and I know a lot of guys were injured. Damian Lillard was injured, which helped Tyrese Halliburton get to where he's at. But nobody is saying Tyrese Halliburton has to leave Indiana. Indiana is not a big market.
Sure isn't.
So you gotta make the market your own. And I think De'Aaron, kudos to him. He says, "Look, I cannot handle shooting 15 threes a game and having to depend on the dull Swiss Army knife and Harrison Barnes, who's already ticking off Wembanyama. Go look up that clip. We need to get somebody in here, and that's DeMar DeRozan." So again, as we start this De'Aaron Fox segment, if you will, as much as I'm upset about this stuff, it's time for De'Aaron to go take. If they're not going to give you that respect,
go flex.
Go out there and take it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with this. Go out there and take it.
Yeah, I mean that's how you got to play the game, right? And I don't mean the game of basketball. I mean like the celebrity game. Like it's part of it. Like if you want to get the respect, and some people might say, who cares? Like it is empty calories. Like if you're great, if you're 15 on this list, does it mean anything for your success? No, but it is a respect thing. And I think De'Aaron but it'd be very, very nice if he started to kind of put on, and it's not just De'Aaron too. Sabonis can do it. DeMar, I think, is going to help do it. I think Malik, you don't even have to ask Malik to do it. He'll do it willingly. You got to kind of flex. And I think the coolest moment that we've had so far with this Beam team is after that Clippers win, the amazing 153-151 win, Malik after that game says, I'm tired of people asking us like, hey, you got to go to the Clippers to go play that. They got to play us too. And I think that's the moment where people really like started to fall in love with that Beam team. It didn't feel like that. Again, last season was crazy boring. It felt like there was just disappointment and just not meeting expectations. This year, I would like them to get a little bit, start feeling themselves. Like, I think PR can be a real positive for this Kings team.
Yeah.
As we know, they like to kind of play that underdog role. Every time it feels like they play the favorite role, they tend to have a loss that disappoints us. I think at some point here, they got to start feeling themselves and they got to throw their weight around. I will also say the top 5 of this list going into the top 10. Top 10, I assume, is going to be released tomorrow. It starts to get a little bit better, a little more justifiable. I will say, I'll get to it in a second. 15, Devin Booker. 14, Jaylen Brown. 13, Anthony Davis. 12, Jalen Brunson. I'm not really one of these guys that's going to, get on top of the roof and start shouting, but Victor Wembanyama at number 11 on this list. If we're projecting to the end of this year, how are you going to have Victor Wembanyama at 11?
You're saying too low.
I think that he should be higher. I definitely think that at the end of this season, with all the hype
He'll
we're
be in the
hearing
top
about,
10.
He should be in the top 10, no doubt. I mean,
but that's the thing.
Crazy.
It's this
Weird
respect thing, right? It's this weird respect thing where they're probably feeling as if, well, he's not there yet. He'll be there.
Yeah.
Literally number 11.
Yeah.
I think that's almost purposely done.
100%.
Right?
He's the last one.
You're
right
close,
before. Yep.
but you're not there yet. Coming up next, we have that sound from one Swaggy P as he talks about De'Aaron Fox and possibly leaving Sacramento. Do we have to worry about De'Aaron taking his talents elsewhere? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The quest for ring number 6 happens here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
My ball, George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Listen on Sacktown Sports for all the 49ers action.
Jennings went up and took it away. What a catch by JJ! He scored 3 touchdowns today.
Quest for 6 lives here on your local sports leader, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Check out Sacramento State football this Saturday, 6 p.m. versus Weber State.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live and local. Live and local.
The sun goes down. The scare factor turns up. Unleash your screams with Fright Fest. Only at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. In 15 minutes, Nate will pick that lucky number to score our pair of passes. Check out Fright Fest at Discovery Kingdom. Open now through November 3rd. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. Got to make sure you go on a day it's not raining, by the way. It's not raining. From the 925. I don't understand. Trash talking the Warriors and complaining about bleeping preseason list. Let's talk about how bad we've looked. If Sabonis wasn't all world in the first half, we could have been down double digits to freaking Utah. I'm not feeling good about this season yet. Nate, can you pull the tape as to when we talked about the Warriors?
I was wondering that too. I was like, did we trash talk the Warriors? I don't even think we mentioned the Warriors. Did we say anything?
There's
about the
no
Warriors?
Warrior in that next group of players, so I don't know.
When did we?
I mean, Damian Lillard.
Look, I would love to trash talk the Warriors, please.
Right. We just didn't do it.
I would like to,
Maybe they tuned in when I said I love Oakland. I don't know.
Maybe.
Damian Lillard in a different world, by the way, if we want to go to Marvel, different universe, Damian Lillard is on the Warriors. I firmly believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Hometown kid.
Yeah, hometown kid.
I mean, they still go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
You think drafted, or you think he went there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Got to
What
watch
did
the
he
movie.
say? Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure.
925. I'm with you. If you're talking about let's not complain. And by the way, we did spend the first hour of the show complaining about how they've been playing in the preseason. But yeah, we're going over this list, and if you want to get on us complaining about the list and where they land, I mean, if you clearly tuned in towards the end, what did we say at the end of it?
I don't
De'Aaron,
even think we talked.
go take it.
Even if they're listening like behind, I don't know when. Even in the preseason talk, I don't think we brought up the Warriors. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Must have been Damian Lillard and Tyrese Halliburton, or maybe it was Tyrese.
I would love to trash talk the Warriors anytime.
We know you would.
Just call me.
We know you would. All right. Speaking of trash talking, I think it's a prerequisite on Gilbert Arenas' show to talk bad about Sacramento. We know he lost there was a bad relationship that he had out here, and ever since then he just bleeped Sacramento and that rabbit from the airport. And this is Swaggy P on the Gilbert Arenas show. As we basically said, we weren't going to play Gilbert Arenas anymore. He's not in this clip. It's just Swaggy P, and Swaggy P is basically asked about De'Aaron Fox, and this is what Swaggy P had to say.
He gets snubbed. Not like that. He gets snubbed too much. Like, people disrespect De'Aaron Fox too much. I think he probably got to get out of Sacramento, to tell you the truth.
Is that just to get recognition or to win?
He been in there too long. I don't know. It's just, to me, De'Aaron Fox should be, for sure, a top 5 point guard in this league, but...
You don't think he's a top 5 PG right now?
I think so, but he don't get no credit for what he's doing. People put everybody above De'Aaron Fox. He get forgot about every time. I think it's just because it's Sacramento. I don't know. Like, you go to Sacramento, that's like the last, you done after that. It's over.
It's a graveyard.
All right, it's a graveyard. Like, for that's sure. Like the last stop. Like,
is De'Aaron Fox I guess the question is it talking about being considered a top 5 point guard, or are his numbers better if he's not in Sacramento? Because by the numbers, it doesn't matter where De'Aaron Fox is playing. And we're talking about a day and age where guys like Luka, big old Luka, is a point guard. So I think the problem is it's not about De'Aaron Fox and how he's perceived. It is somewhat about that. Maybe I think he could be a little bit underrated, but I don't think numbers-wise he'd be a top 5 point guard. So are you saying his numbers would be better? Are you saying he'd just be perceived as a top 5 point guard? I'm not really understanding, because correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, based on the numbers, he's not a top 5 point guard.
No, I mean, I wouldn't think so. I mean, if he is, then he's like barely on the cusp of it. I mean, I think I'm going to take not Gilbert, it's on Gilbert's show. I'm going to take Nick Young as pretty much saying there that it is more of a market thing and it is more of a recognition thing, just kind of based off of his reasoning behind it. It kind of sounded like, to me, Nick Young believes he is a top 5 point guard
right now.
Since he's in Sacramento, people just aren't watching the games on a day-to-day basis the same way, now I wanted to bring up Steph, but that was only because the text line said Warriors. I just think that, he's not going to get as much shine as Tyrese Maxey, because Tyrese Maxey is in Philly. He's with an MVP and Joel Embiid. There's an East Coast bias anyway with national media. And so I do think that, that's more so the Sacramento thing that might actually give Nick Young some legs to stand on is, for sure. Like, people are not watching Kings games every single night. People have just been waiting for the other shoe to drop with this Sacramento situation. They've just said, it's a cute story. It's fun. I'm glad they're not the worst team in the NBA anymore, but nobody really takes them seriously. I think that's the part of being in Sacramento that is actually hurting De'Aaron, but I don't think that that's necessarily I don't think that can't change. I mean, we just saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get all the attention in the world last year, and he's in OKC. So I just kind of feel like it is more so, kind of like what you said last segment. I think a bit of it is fans can champion De'Aaron Fox as much as they want. De'Aaron Fox also has to, kind of show out a little bit and again, play the game. He's got to play the media game in trying to get headlines, whether it be with, I definitely would prefer, and I think he's not really the type to do it with his words, but, have some highlight plays, get some big dunks in there, have some big moments. And I think, really quickly, people will be talking about De'Aaron all over again. It's just the team has to be successful in order for him to really be talked about.
I'm looking here, Chris, top 5 point guards. And to be completely honest with you, it's not as crazy for Dame to be, for Fox to be in that conversation.
It's more close to 5, though, huh?
Here,
it's like Luka and Steph are definitely up there.
Here are the 4 non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Luka, Shai, Steph, and based on what he did last season, Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
To me, those are the 4 non-negotiables. Once you move on from those 4, you could even put 3, because I see your face.
Yeah.
Shai, Luka,
I think there's at least a conversation.
And Steph. Fine. Right. Those are the 3 immovable objects, right?
Agreed.
After that, Then you have the conversation of numbers based on perception, where it's Brunson, Dame, Halliburton, some people put Trae Young in there,
Sure.
Maxey, De'Aaron Fox, Ja. Right. So could he be part of that last two? Maybe Swaggy P is essentially saying if he was somewhere else, he would be more talked about in that five, because a lot of these people, they're still putting Dame in there. And maybe we're being disrespectful to Dame. Maybe Dame does deserve at least one more season in the top five before because his numbers weren't awful.
Did we mention Tyrese Halliburton even?
Tyrese Halliburton,
People
those
probably
last
want to put him in the top five more than
those last two. It's between Brunson, Dame, Fox, Halliburton, Ja. Those five are fighting for those last two spots. So you could put. So what I'm saying is, at the end of this season, that's an opportunity for De'Aaron Fox to say, "I'm in there."
Yeah,
I'm in there because right now Brunson is number. He's number 4. It's not in
Tyrese
Sharpie.
is probably 5.
Right. It's not in Sharpie, but it's in erasable pen. I'll tell you that. Remember that? I used to get
they
all over my hands because I'm left-handed. David, we
So
see you.
bad.
We'll get to you on the other side. And also, if you are on the app, you might want to switch on over to AM if you want your chance at Fright Fest tickets with the kettle corn and the turkey legs and the funnel cake that hopefully isn't overcooked. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for this Wednesday afternoon, and temperatures will peak in the upper 70s, close to average. Expect clearing skies overnight tonight and a drop in the temperatures to the 50s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
turkey.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Scary 6. That'd be better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do 6 a lot.
That's true. Chris, for baby Stiles, before you put her to bed now, we've moved to the Halloween books.
Oh, okay.
So Spooky Pookie has been.
What's that one about?
Spooky Pookie. Pookie is a pig.
So, just wasn't expecting Spooky Pookie the pig.
Pookie is a pig.
Okay.
Pookie the pig.
Uh-huh.
And Pookie is looking for Pookie's mom is telling Pookie, hey.
Pookie Nakui.
Yeah. Pookie's mom is telling him, hey, today is, it's Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Why? He's just finding out day up. Not sure. But Pookie is trying on all these different outfits, and then he gets a ghost outfit, which is just a sheet.
Yeah.
He says, I like this one. And it said, that's a ghost. No, it's a Spooky Pookie.
They just don't make classics like that.
No, they really
anymore.
don't.
You got to start writing kids' books.
I'll
really
read, one of these Fridays, I'm going to bring in Spooky Pookie. I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Why
read
not?
it.
Maybe Halloween week.
Halloween week.
I think, isn't Halloween during the middle of the week? That's always the worst, by the way, too. When Halloween falls in the middle of the week, it's just like, I feel like I say it every year. Halloween is such an adult holiday.
I'm showing
Thursday.
Chris right now.
Thursday, so we can do it.
That's a Spooky Pookie.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not at all what I would have expected that.
That's Pookie's mom telling Pookie about Halloween.
Oh, she bad. Okay.
That's a pig.
Okay.
916-339-1140. Looks like Nate is finding that winner to enjoy that turkey leg if they have those. We know they got scares at Fright Fest, and maybe you'll see Spooky Pookie. Let's get to David, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, David? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
What's up, fellas?
Not too much, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Chris, skull, baby.
Yes, absolutely. Every day of the week.
We've got to beat the Lions, man, all the way this week.
It's a big one.
Big game. Yep. Listen, I'm an older dude. I've been following the Kings since they got here. And, I like De'Aaron Fox. I think he's a fantastic player. And what you just said about East Coast bias totally makes sense, because if he was playing for Jersey or something like that, he might be an automatic max guy. But I'm just going to say it now, and I know a lot of people don't feel this way, but I don't personally myself, I don't think any basketball player is worth 40, 50, 60 million dollars a year. It's just ridiculous. But giving Fox a 165 alone is ridiculous in my opinion. And everybody's like, well, we got to build around him. But if you have him making 55, 60 million, Sabonis making 45, 50 million, Keegan making 40, how are you going to build around that when you're not going to have the funds? Plus, not only that, but they've already proven that trio, even though Keegan's still growing, isn't necessarily probably good enough to take you to that next level. So I think if it came down to it, I'm not promoting this, I'm just saying we could get a haul for him of established veterans or players that are extremely good if we were to decide to trade him, which I know the Kings brass would be totally averse to, because they don't have I don't think Monty's got the gall to kind of do that thing, but I'm not advocating for that. But I haven't seen any playoff wins since he's been here, and that's not all his fault. But I also haven't seen him completely carry a team on his back, like say a Chris Webber would have, or, different time, different player, different position. But I just don't see giving Fox a 3-165 or a 4-240 or whatever it is, or even worse, a 5-365. And I'm kind of disappointed that he's pushing for a bigger deal when Sabonis, could have got more, and he took a hit because he wanted the team to have money to build. So I know everything's about the money and maybe the ego, but I just think that I'm not really down with this whole thing of giving him that much money myself. I don't know what you guys think, but, and I know everybody's about get theirs, get yours, but there's something that just doesn't feel good about it. And I know he's stuck with the team through thick and thin, and he's, we built around him and all this stuff, but it's just a hard pill to swallow, in my opinion. But what do I know? But I don't know. Thanks, guys.
No, thanks for the call, David. Lot to kind of break down there. I guess, Chris, what I'll just keep saying is this is just the way of the market and the way of the NBA world right now. That's how I keep looking at this De'Aaron Fox thing. I just think it's less about I think what it comes down to is based on market and understanding the market, does it feel like De'Aaron Fox would be overpaid. And again, I think David would more so not even talking about the Supermax. He's just saying in general, it just is tough because when you hear what Swaggy P had to say and what we hear about Sacramento, I just don't think – I think that there are certain cities that maybe if you think that De'Aaron Fox isn't that dude or you've given him enough opportunity, you can move on. I don't know that Sacramento can, for lack of a better term, afford to, because you can't just get – you can't just get free agents whenever you want out here. And the last thing I'll say is that's why I keep saying, David, that this is an enormous year for this group. You bring in DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is 35. De'Aaron Fox is going into his 8th year. Keegan Murray, we all know about that 3rd-year leap we're hoping that he takes. Sabonis has been extremely healthy. Can he continue to be that dude? Malik, you were able to keep Malik Monk. Mike Brown is on an extension. That's why I hear what you're saying, David, but as far as the playoff stuff, I'm reserving that to see what they do this year.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a sticker shock that's going on too, where people are just seeing the number and saying like, well, if he's going to get paid that much, there's not going to be anything left for anybody else. And I just think that that's not really accounting for the fact that the NBA's salary cap is going to go up too. It's not that it's just De'Aaron's going to take up this massive chunk. He definitely is. I think he's the way that they've also started to talk, analysts have started to talk about contracts as well. It's not so much the dollar figure, because the dollar figure isn't going to make sense to a lot of people. Like the caller just said there, like even the 3 for 125 sounds crazy to a lot of people, but it's more the percentage of the cap that's being taken up is really the thing you need to look at. And, De'Aaron's going to go from, I think, about 27 or 30% to as high as 32 to 33% of the team's total cap. But that's just kind of how it is. And, it doesn't mean that they're not able to build around him. I mean, it's not a perfect example because they obviously just won the championship, but look at the Celtics. Like, they haven't had much issue paying all their guys as long as you keep everybody in-house. That's the thing, is the Kings have to build this thing now before the contracts come up. Chris, then it's time.
Breaking news sounder, please, okay. Nate. This just came in.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sacktown Sports breaking news.
This just came in about a minute ago from Sham Sharania. Free agent Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott, has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Sacramento Kings. Sources told ESPN McDermott is a career 41% three-point shooter and joins the Western Conference playoff contender for his 11th NBA season. A lot of people wanted Dougie McBuckets, Chris. He's got a connection to some of the players on the Kings. There you have it. Right there. Doug McDermott to the Sacramento Kings. Part 1 of 2. Sean Cunningham talked about it. You had Carmichael Dave talking about it, and they did not waste time for part 2. Doug McDermott is a Sacramento King, the sharpshooter.
I've been waiting for this for probably like a year and a half or so. Yeah, you mentioned that he's close with a couple members of this Kings team. He, I believe, is with the same agency as Kevin Huerter. He said, Kevin Huerter said, I believe it was a year ago on the Zach Lowe podcast, that when he first came to Sacramento, he reached out to his agent, also reached out to Doug McDermott, and said, hey, what's it going to be like? Doug McDermott then told Kevin Huerter, the tie-in to the second teammate he knows, you're going to love playing with Domantas Sabonis. He gets you more open than you will ever be in your entire career. There's a relationship with Huerter. There's a relationship with Domantas Sabonis from their time in Indiana. I think it makes a ton of sense. This is a big, he can shoot, he can't defend, but I think that this is, as you and Dave were talking this morning and you brought up yesterday as well, like there is some concerns that maybe this team is built on shooting and they don't have enough shooters. Well, Doug McDermott is exactly that, and he's a veteran in this league. He's somebody who is able to play a couple different positions. I think he's most comfortable at the 4, but he can probably slide some minutes at the 3. He's a bigger body. I think that this is a really good, solid pickup for this Kings team. Not anything that's going to possibly change the season or anything, but I think Doug McDermott is absolutely still a capable NBA player. He's relatively, I guess, young in his career. He's around his prime. I think that this is a really good pickup for this team, and I think he's going to be a contributor on a lot of nights. Now, is it going to be every single night? Probably not, but this is somebody who can definitely come in, hit some shots, and he's not somebody that is just going to get forgotten about. Defenses cannot leave Doug McDermott. So I do think that that's a really good addition, especially to that bench unit. Now has Kevin Herter and Doug McDermott coming off the bench.
916-339-1140. Let's open up the phone lines. How are you feeling? Part 2 has happened. Is this what you were expecting? Do you feel happy? Did you want more? Maybe the Kings aren't done. Let's hear from you. Text line, call line, Sack Chat. We will break down Dougie McBuckets, his numbers for his career last season when we return. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush, makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Don't miss the action as the Kings tip off their 40th season in Sacramento. Be there for opening night at Golden One Center on Thursday, October 24th, when the Kings take on the Minnesota Timberwolves at 7 p.m. Tickets for all games are on sale now, so be sure to get yours to see De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, new addition DeMar DeRozan, and all of your Sacramento Kings take the court. Head to kings.com/tickets to secure your seat for the action.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
For 76 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 76th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
If you're just now joining us, Doug McDermott is your newest Sacramento King. He signs a one-year deal that is from Shams. Last season, Doug McDermott spent time with the Spurs and the Pacers. He didn't start a game, but he played in 64. He averaged 14 minutes a game, and everybody wants to know about the three-point percentage. He shot 41% from three. He is a guy who's going to come in, hopefully make some shots for you. Got to survive on defense as well. Chris, from the free throw, he shoots it, weirdly enough, 57% from three, but I just don't think he gets to the free throw line very often.
He's an 80% for his career.
80% for his career, yeah. So maybe it was just the running around last season.
Didn't take many.
Yeah, didn't take many at all. But this is a guy who we just talked about the three-point shooting, and obviously we already talked about how a lot of that three-point shooting is coming from the bench. But hey, just bring more off the bench. And he was 41% from three last season. He's also 41% for his career. So that is pretty good true shooting there, Chris. Opening up the phone lines, 916-339-1140. From the 530 on the text line, love the pickup. People forget how good Doug is at shooting. He instantly becomes the Kings' best shooter. They haven't struggled to generate open looks, just needs dudes to hit them. So, yeah, not the time to debate whether he'll be the best or not, but he's definitely going to help the shooting category for the Sacramento Kings, who want to take a lot of threes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking at his numbers as a reserve throughout his career. He's played 561 games as a reserve. He started a handful, 94 comparatively, 8 points per game coming off the bench. He still shoots 41% from three coming off the bench. And you do like to see this as well. I'm looking at his starter versus reserve splits. It's pretty much the same numbers, which means he is who he is, and that's what you're going to get. And it's if you play him more, you're just going to get a little bit of a blown out version of it. 47.1% as a starter from the field, 47.2% from the field as a reserve, 40.9% from three as a starter, 41 flat as a reserve. So again, you know what you're going to get when you get Doug McDermott in there. He averages about 20 minutes per game coming off the bench. So he's somebody who, even though he isn't really any knocked down a starting spot at any stop in his career long term, he's been somebody who you still want to have out on the floor, and I think that's incredibly important. He doesn't have too long of a playoff history or anything like that, but I think the fact that he's been there a couple different times in a role player position, I think is definitely a positive, as this team is probably going to need some people to step up in the playoffs. I don't think Doug's going to be the first person they look to, but I think the fact that he's been there, done that, and if I'm not mistaken here, I want to double check. I'm pretty sure Doug McDermott is now the second oldest player on this Kings team, only behind DeMar DeRozan.
He turned
crazy.
Yeah, he turns 33 in January. Somebody on the Sac Chat asking, isn't he old? He's younger than you think. I mean, he's 32.
Like, he's also much younger than Jay Crowder and Robert Covington. So when I say he's relatively young, those are the other examples that I was thinking of.
Yeah, and obviously Doug McDermott, his name has come up, but were you at all surprised, Chris? You weren't necessarily convinced that Jay Crowder was the pick? His name just kept coming up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say I expected Jay Crowder to be the name that this ended up being. I just thought Doug McDermott made sense really almost solely because of the experience with Domas and Herter, and it sounded like both of those guys had really positive experiences with Doug McDermott. So honestly, it was more of the relationship part of it that made me more confident that at some point here, when he hit free agency, he was going to say, well, this team needs shooting. They rely on shooting to an extent. And I'm, a big body, it just makes a lot of sense for the Kings to want to go after. And so it just kind of always seemed like it was destined to happen at some point. And I would say that I'm probably a little bit surprised that it is happening right now. I definitely didn't think that this was going to be the guy that they ended up going for, but I feel like I'm about as satisfied as you can be with the list of names that were out there. I definitely think Doug McDermott is somebody who at least makes impact on a lot of teams that he goes to.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jay Crowder, they both, according to Basketball Reference, they're both 6'6". Obviously, they're different players. Jay Crowder just turned 34 in July. So he's 30.
Okay.
Yeah. So
feels like he's been in the league longer than that.
Yeah. He's 34 years old. And I honestly, Chris, I thought he didn't play that much on the Bucks, so I checked to see who played more. I thought maybe even Dougie McBuckets played more than Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder last season because the whole thing was I want more of a identity, right? That's why he wanted to get out of Phoenix, and it feels like you never actually see him playing. But Jay Crowder last season, I think a lot of it is due to injury. But Jay Crowder last season, Chris, he played in 50 games, so Dougie played in more. But he started 25 games, and in those games, just in total minutes played per game, he played 23.1. So he played about 9 more minutes than Dougie, and he started 25 more games than Dougie. Dougie played more games, but yeah, Jay Crowder definitely did have a decent amount of playing time last season. As far as his 3-point percentage, he shot it at 34, basically 35%. Last season, his career is right there as well, 34, 35%. So, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. Kind of surprising that Jay Crowder didn't work out just because he's more that physical dude. But, in Monty we trust, and he likes what he saw from Doug McDermott when they, have discussed with him or talked with him, seen him work out, watched him work out, seen him play, and they think that's what they need. And I'm curious,
or
Chris,
Jay Crowder didn't want to come here,
or Jay Crowder didn't want to,
or didn't want to accept the role that was given after playing the Nick Young sound. It's very important to clarify.
That's true.
It has nothing to do with Sacramento. It just maybe, like you said, he started 25 games last year.
25 games.
Maybe he's saying like that opportunity, like they're talking about 9th, 10th man in Sacramento. I'm looking for something where I could maybe sneak in 20 games as a starter.
Right. We don't know, and we will know more if and when Jay Crowder does get signed somewhere. But yeah, do you think that it's funny because we sit there and, some people will say preseason doesn't matter. Fans will say preseason doesn't matter. Some fans will get worked up about preseason. We started the show and I was fairly worked up about what we've seen from the Kings so far. Do you feel like Dougie McDermott moved up the Kings list due to how cold they've been in the preseason, or am I being way too simpleton there?
There's a chance that it definitely played a small impact for sure. Like, I mean, maybe they, just like you, maybe they had the same thought of, we think this team is good at shooting, but maybe we're not as good as what we thought. And, Monty McNair, I feel like, is definitely the kind of GM that seems to feel like you can't have enough shooting. Like, and a lot of teams feel that way, especially in today's era, that, if you're a shooter, you'll find your way out onto the floor. And I think, as we kind of went through Doug's minutes and games played and things like that, I think it's really clear that teams have a really hard time keeping him off of the floor. I mean, he played he's always kind of been a random night killer for a lot of teams. I do think, you mentioned Jay Crowder's ability to start. I do kind of feel like if Keegan goes down, and I think Trey Lyles would definitely be the first option, but I wouldn't be crazy upset with Doug McDermott getting starts. Now, I know defensively is really where you're going to feel the difference between a guy like Doug and Keegan, but I do think if you're just saying, hey, Doug, can you play a role while Keegan Murray is out for 15 games? Offensively, I do think Doug McDermott could maybe fill that role for a short period of time. But again, I think defensively is really where you're going to see Mike Brown and Doug McDermott probably be at odds. Like, I'm not entirely sure. I said Monty McNair likes enough. You can't have enough shooting on the floor. I don't know if Mike Brown feels that way. We know Mike Brown loves him some defense. That, again, might be a little bit of a push and pull is maybe Monty McNair feels like, hey, this guy can be an impact player, has been an impact player for a lot of teams for a lot of years, and you're not going to play him because he doesn't play defense. Like, that can maybe cause maybe Doug to not have as big of a role as what we expect this year. But I think he's going to be an impact player.
Are we looking at this as a Sasha Vezenkov situation a little bit? I know,
sure.
I know Sasha, there was more.
Hopefully it goes better.
Well, I'm just wondering, do we think he'll get more playing time than Sasha did?
Probably around the same.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I mean, maybe more just because he's been established. He's like Mike Brown. The problem with Sasha was you put him in and you're learning as you're watching him. I think maybe Mike can say, look, I've gone against Doug McDermott. I mean, Doug McDermott was with the Spurs for a couple years. I know Greg Popovich obviously has a very similar mentality as Mike Brown. Maybe he is a little bit less of a defensive liability than what I'm putting on him. But I think that, I think that maybe that's a chance for sure.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. Someone from the 405 not thrilled about Doug McDermott. We'll tell you what they had to say. Now, are the Kings done adding pieces, or is there anybody else? And we get back into the De'Aaron Fox conversation. Does this kind of mean that De'Aaron Fox is a star now? We'll tell you what we mean when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. How are you celebrating Jeep Adventure Days?
By helping you save up to $16,000 off MSRP on all remaining new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs. Plus, a lifetime of savings at the pump with 56 MPGE.
Oh, wow, that's huge savings, especially as gas prices seem to be going up and up again.
But that's not it. We have over 200 quality used cars available and 46 under $20,000 at the new Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter in historic downtown Woodland.
If you need a vehicle, new or used, your first stop needs to be at Hoblet. You won't find bigger savings on a better selection of vehicles anywhere. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs after $4,750 dealer discount and $11,250 factory and federal rebates. Rebates include $7,500 national retail consumer cash and $3,750 federal EV tax credit, subject to third-party terms and availability. Consult a tax professional for details. At least 5% savings. See dealer for details.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento and Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O-Rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy one, get one free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Fall's right around the corner, and there's no better way to experience nature and everything that Northern California has to offer than in a Jeep. And right now, it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And they've got the deals and selection for you. From sales to service, they're going to prove to you why they deserve your business. Their GM, Chuck Dean, he has this talent of not only getting you the best deal in town, but he also is able to build an inventory that other dealers are jealous of. SackSuperstore.com and located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
916.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Kevin Herterer with he'll eat the table.
This is so good. I
This
was trying
probably
to.
the last time Doug McDermott was like in the national spotlight was when this song was going down.
Oh, here it is. I had to look the chorus. Man, my biscuit's hard.
Oh my God.
DJ Bedhead. Hey.
So this is getting played after every bucket.
Has to.
Yeah.
And he's
Has
probably
it been?
so tired of it.
Has it been? Is that what?
I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
I'm just assuming. Great stuff. I used to be hitting that thing too.
Dude, that biscuit hard hit pretty hard just now.
It did.
When did
Yeah.
this come out?
That was right on.
I think this is when I'm pretty sure I was smack dab in college and I was hitting this thing.
Everybody was. I mean, this had a, you want like, you know, it would start it off with the Soldier Boy, the Superman, obviously to crank that, and then like this kind of was the continuation of it. I think it was a couple years later.
You're a jerk, wasn't that right after?
Cali
the Jersey
Swag
movement,
District.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let's take guesses. Nate, Chris,
Oh my God.
which year was this song
09.
released?
No, that's too early.
Too early? Oh.
Oh wait, no. Actually, I'm sorry. That might be right on time because it was when I was in high school, but it was early high school.
This is the nastiest Fortnite emote too. You kill someone, you hit the Dougie right after. As like Peter Griffin or Spider-Man. It's pretty nasty.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Dang, Nate. 09 is probably the right number. I'll say 08.
Okay.
Nate was close, but he was wrong. 2010.
Went the wrong
You're
way.
right.
2010. Wow,
Really?
what a time to be alive.
It really was. It really was.
And it lasted for a while
It
because
did, yeah.
you were in the Dougie for
It really
years.
was like the Dougie, and then like the dab was like
Right.
the next like really big thing that like okay,
Cat Daddy was in there somewhere.
Cat Daddy for
yeah.
sure. Oh yeah.
A Cat
Yeah.
Daddy, because you Cat Daddy with the Dougie.
Yes, that's the thing.
I
is the
Cat Daddy
Dougie,
with my
yeah.
Dougie.
Can you
Cat
do
Daddy.
that, Alan?
I can do all of
With
it.
Do it right
the
now.
jerk,
I gotta
too.
I gotta
It was
stretch
just-
out first.
It was a
Yeah.
mess.
I gotta stretch out. Great stuff. Well, one person on the text line is not super juiced to Dougie from the 415, and they say the addition is That's a EH, by the way. The addition is The guy is only 6'6". Still no size or athleticism or toughness. The Kings are banking on trying to be like the Warriors. This is not me saying it or Chris. This is from a text line. If you're just joining us, people think we're bringing up the Warriors. We're not. This is from the 415, which is actually Warriorland. The Kings are banking on trying to be like the Warriors in the mid-2000s. I think that's the 2010s. Just make a bunch of shots and run people out of the building. That has to be the most insane thought process. But what do I know? I'm not the general manager. That's from the 415.
Yeah, I mean the Kings. That's also not. I mean, we've actually talked about how the Kings have taken significantly less threes throughout this preseason than what they've even been in the past. And yeah, I mean, I just don't think that's the game plan at all. I mean, yeah, offensively, the only thing that I'll take from that is yes, offensively they do want to be really, really dominant. Yes, that is 100% true. But I don't think this Doug McDermott signing is necessarily the thing that put the nail in the coffin for that one. Like, I think that's always been their plan. That's always kind of been their identity. Even when they were, the Chris Webber days, that was kind of their identity as well. I know they were a top 10 defense as well, but that team has always been built on offense. So,
I would say, and 916 is also saying, seems Monty is not interested in a big defense guy. I hope he has a big plan. I guess my question.
One person's not going to change the defense.
Yeah, well, my question is, if you're talking about a Doug McDermott, who else were you interested in?
That's the right question.
Because, and we could have the conversation about Jay Crowder. If you really wanted Jay Crowder, then we can have that combo. But we're talking about, once the whole part 2 thing came out and we had Sean Cunningham on yesterday, you can go check out that YouTube during one of our breaks when he said this part 2 is probably not going to be a home run or a national treasure. Oh, we're looking at one thing to do another to get a Cam Johnson or whoever it is. The list was the list of these free agents. If you have a different name that is tougher and someone that you think makes more sense, then we can have that convo. But yeah, I'm just not really sure who else was out there. Yeah. Johnny B on the Sack Chat. Now Kings can trade Herter and a pick for Time Lord and one of the tall guards like Banton to add defensive length off the bench, or both Murrays. Blazers need shooting desperately. So do the Kings right now. I think that, weirdly enough, I would say Kevin Herter is kind of safe right now. I don't think that the Kings are willing to move it. And by the way, I'm not trading Kevin Herter and a pick for Time Lord. Sorry, no. Johnny B. Not with those knees.
Not with those knees. Yeah.
Not with those knees. I'm not doing that.
Also, for what it's worth, Doug McDermott, I'm looking at his combine measurements. He was listed at 6'6" and a quarter without shoes, but with shoes, which is what matters, he was listed at 6'7" and 3/4. So pretty much 6'8".
I'm in. Now are you in 415?
Yeah, does that change things? And also, like you said, I mean, who is the 6'8", 7-foot wingspan, like, forward that can also shoot but also defend? Where's that guy on the free agency list? Because those guys aren't walking around and they're getting picked up really early. If anything, I've been calling for Robert Covington. He's the only name that really follows that, and he's definitely past his prime.
Well, you didn't even have, because I'm looking at your list right now, you didn't have Robert Covington on the list.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen. I love Robert. And I felt like it might have been.
But he is a free agent.
He is a free agent. Yes. Robert Covington is a free agent. He just really hasn't been an impact player in years, really. But I can't, he's another guy I can't quit.
This was Chris's list. So if you aren't thrilled with teaching yourself how to Dougie with Doug McDermott, who just joined the Sacramento Kings, Jay Crowder, JTA, who we just saw, Darius Baisley, Reggie Bullock, Matt Ryan, Isaiah Livers, and then Chris did have Doug McDermott. And the first comment, Chris, wouldn't mind Jay Crowder, Bullock, or Matt Ryan. Just didn't have Doug McDermott. The next comment, McDermott would be an upgraded version over Sasha. A lot of people. Next person, I like Doug McDermott as a one-year option. So, yeah.
If I could read here from Hoops Hype, they have a list of the top remaining free agents. This was written a couple weeks ago, September 24th. So at the end of September, they had Markelle Fultz as the best remaining free agent, Dennis Smith Jr. as number 2. Number 3 was Doug McDermott. Number 4, Jay Crowder. Number 5, Daniel House. Number 6, Robert Covington. So I think I think the list of names there is the right list. And if according to Hoops Hype, and I think a lot of people out there, Doug McDermott was probably the best of the remaining forwards. Now, it might be a pick your favorite ice cream kind of thing. Maybe, like the texter, maybe you were looking for toughness instead. But
with Jay Crowder,
you get toughness with Jay Crowder, but I'm telling you, Jay Crowder is not a 40% 3-point shooter. So you got to kind of pick what you're really looking at. And I think, I'm the one who really does clamor for, hey, we need Trey Lyles is the only guy who's getting in somebody's face. Toughness is a little bit overrated.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point that I didn't necessarily think about either. Jay Crowder would have had to say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he's to the point now where, well, if I am going to play the Dougie McBuckets role, I'd rather, if the Bucks want me back, I'd rather go to the Bucks.
Exactly.
I'm kind of ring chasing here.
He probably feels like his phone won't be dry either. He probably feels like an opportunity will come. Middle of the season.
Right. So he might have said, thanks, but no thanks. I either want a bigger role or I'll take a smaller role. It's like when you're looking at companies, right? You could be a senior manager at a startup, But then when you go to Google or somewhere like that, you're just a manager or you're a team lead, right? Because it's a bigger company. So Jay Crowder is saying, I'd rather be a senior. I'm either going to be a senior manager for the Kings, or I'd rather be a team lead for the Thunder or somebody like that. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Dwayne. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Dwayne? What you got for us?
What's going on, fellas?
Not too much.
Yeah, man. So you know what it is. It's the same conversation. It goes back to Monty McNair, and I still go all the way back to last year's trade deadline. When you miss your window, bro, when you don't pull the trigger as a GM and do what you got to do, this is where you wind up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wind up in the friend zone, bro. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You might get a kiss tonight, bro, but you definitely not getting breakfast in the morning. You feel me?
No,
and the breakfast in the morning is the chip. You know, they just didn't address their needs, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't address what they needed to go do, bro. You went and got DeMar DeRozan, bro. He's a quiet guy, bro. He's not that rowdy, get in your face, hard foul dude. Like, he's a dude. If you get in his face, yeah, he's going to stand on business. But as a teammate, man, he's just a guy that doesn't cause problems, but he's not, you know.
Who did you want? Who did you want, Dwayne? Who when we go into the offseason, who did you want?
Well, I didn't, to be honest, man, I'm not sure who was available, but I wanted a guy like John Collins or a guy like Bobby Portis.
Mm-hmm.
And in the draft, I wanted Edie.
Okay.
So we could have traded up if we really felt confident about Edie, but obviously Monty McNair wasn't even thinking about it, man. We do not have what it takes to even deal with the Pelicans. When they see us, bro, it's a mismatch, bro. They got mismatches all over the court. They're D'ing us up with those long arm wings. And we didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Even in the draft, we went and got a guard, bro. Now, I'm sure the guy's good. I'm sure he's really good. It sounds like he's really good, and he's got the work ethic. He comes from a dad who played, but that's not what we needed, bro. So now we're in trouble. We're not going to get that rebound at the end of the game. We're still not going to get the calls from the ref, and we're not going to get that stop that we need, bro.
Yeah.
So you guys, we got to go out and get somebody tough, long, strong, who'll take that foul and also get in somebody's face. Because right now, bro, instead of getting tougher, we got softer.
Man, thanks for the call, Dwayne. I can't really say whether Dwayne is right or wrong yet, Chris. Right. I mean, from a outside perspective, we're kind of talking about different positions. I mean, I've been talking about Bobby Portis. And by the way, I'm not alone.
And he mentioned Drape's guy, too.
That's right, John Collins. I'm not alone in this. So Will Z Stats, he put out an article on Sports Illustrated about how the Kings would get Bobby Portis. And don't worry, we're gonna get to that. I can't wait for that. But it would be tough because the Bucks kind of need him as well.
Yeah, gotta make it make sense.
He said DeMar's a quiet guy too, and it's like, okay, he's kind of in the middle on the fringe when it comes to that, but like John Collins is too. That was his first guy he mentioned.
Right. If the Kings lost Harrison Barnes and added, and I guess this would be Bobby Portis' first time really starting, and you add Bobby Portis into that starting lineup and or John Collins, let's do 3 versions of the starting lineup, one with DeMar DeRozan, one with John Collins, and one with
Zach Edey?
No, not with
John
with Zach
Collins
Edey.
or Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis. Who are you most excited about?
DeMar,
yeah.
the current one.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. Bobby
would be second,
one, but yeah, I don't know how close that is.
Yeah. Drapes was essentially talking about John Collins coming here as a reclamation project, not to take the Kings over the top.
Yeah.
And that's what the Jazz are. I mean, it's the Atlanta misfit toys.
That's 100% what it is. And like he looked good last night for sure. And I kind of go back and forth most of the time. I'm not really a big fan of John Collins, and I watch him and I'm like, maybe I'm a little hard on him, but then feels like every team he goes on kind of ends up or at least every situation ends up kind of having the same story. And I feel like he doesn't really elevate many teams, but he definitely does some stuff. Yeah. I mean, I understand that maybe that people do feel like the Kings completely ignored all of their deficiencies from last year, but I don't necessarily know if they had okay, so let's use the Pelicans as the example. The Pelicans have tons of long, rangy forwards. Does that necessarily mean that if you get a bunch of long, rangy forwards, they cancel each other out? Or do you have to try and get some other, like a DeMar DeRozan to me, who is just a pure shot maker? Doesn't matter if you put Zach Edey in front of him, he's going to hit a shot. Like, to me, that's a better answer to counter what the Pelicans do than to try and match what they do, if that makes sense. That's the Kings taking on another team's identity. At least the Kings are trying to be a better version, possibly, of the identity they already have.
Well, and if we're talking about the guys that I just mentioned, the problem is you go out, I think it helps, but you go out and get a Tristan da Silva. How much better do we feel about the Kings versus the Pelicans, right?
Minor.
I mean, let's say they got the same thing. Instead of drafting Devin Carter, they draft Tristan da Silva. I think you'd maybe feel a little bit better, but there would still be a lot of the same issues.
It's not the answer.
Right, right. All right, we will tie a bow on the Kings, and we will head into Niner land as Brock Purdy is being talked about. And I'm just kind of curious, is the team going to get tired of talking about Brock? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You know how it goes down, man. Sacktown Sports 1140 has you covered all year. Listen to every Sacramento Kings game and stay up to date on all Kings news on SacktownSports.com. Or listen to our live and local shows.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys.
We are your home of the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Check out Sacramento State football this Saturday, 6 p.m. versus Weber State.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for this Wednesday afternoon, and temperatures will peak in the upper 70s. Expect clearing skies overnight tonight and a drop in the temperatures to the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, you gotta see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia. You can always count on low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named a top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all four arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
About to get into some Niners here from the 415, Chris. I agree toughness can be a little bit overrated. However, I've seen this team get punked by the worst teams in the NBA, and then the elite teams like the Celtics just run them over. So it can be frustrating, but I believe – so it can be overrated, but I believe in this circumstance, this team needs toughness. You know, Chris, is – the word toughness.
People are thinking of physical toughness.
Well,
you're kind of mentioning mental toughness.
I'm wondering if the word toughness can be swapped out with accountability. Because if you're getting your butt whooped by the Blazers or by the Hornets, right? Do you need Jay Crowder or Draymond Green to A-Town stomp on somebody, or do you need somebody to sit there and say, to keep them accountable, which is what JaVale McGee said on these airwaves, guys, This is embarrassing. We're a better team than this. We're losing. They almost lost to the Pistons twice.
Yeah.
And they did lose to them once. We were in Vegas, and they ruined our trip in Vegas. No, they didn't. We still had a great time. But
That's
they
right.
did ruin
That's right.
about an hour of our time in Vegas.
They tried.
So is it a question of toughness? Do you need somebody to choke out Cade Cunningham? Or do you need somebody to say, guys, we need to take accountability, which is what Mike Brown is always saying. I think that DeMar DeRozan will use his experience, and that will help the accountability conversation. That's what I think.
I think choking out Cade Cunningham probably gets you somewhere.
And I
think that probably can get you,
Well, no,
3
because
seeds.
the Kings are worse as the teams get worse. Didn't they almost lost to the Pistons without Cade Cunningham?
Yes, they did. Yeah, Cade wasn't even playing. And I think just about everybody wasn't playing that game. It was, I mean, I completely think you're right. I mean, I think, when people think toughness, they think again, like, oh, there's a dust up. Who's going to be the one who's talking in someone's face? And I just kind of think it is more of, like you said, accountability. It's somebody who's going to walk in the locker room and say, hey guys, remember when we had plans of championship aspirations, or we talk a lot about, not letting the league sleep on us? Well, today, I think we're proving everybody right. Like, it's somebody who's going to be unafraid to speak up in the locker room. And yeah, I don't necessarily think that has a lot to do with toughness. I understand people saying that it feels like sometimes just in general, the physicality isn't high enough on this team. But I think when you have Domantas Sabonis, people have talked about De'Aaron Fox being kind of an incredibly sneaky, strong guy. I think there is some physicality that's on this team. I think maybe people just are upset that they don't seem fiery. They don't feel like, there's rah guys.
You got
out there.
De'Aaron after a loss. Oh, I don't even think about it by the time I got the building.
You don't get the post.
Hear
Like,
that.
even, I swear to God, I think things as simple as, post-game interviews with the sideline reporter, how many times we see 4 Grizzlies surrounding somebody and pouring water on them. Like, I think things like that help, at least from the fan base perspective, make the group feel like they're together.
And DeMar's
like
not going to help that.
They're beating on the same drum.
No, that's not necessarily what DeMar is. It's from the 916. Guys, I love the conspiracy theories being thrown out there. Here's mine. Why do we have so many guards trying to find De'Aaron's replacement? And then Jeff asked the question, what's the biggest chip we have to get that stud for? Is it Fox? Thanks, Jeff. Well, I think what you said yesterday, Chris, and it's crazy. This is why I think, we're going to get into this Brock Purdy conversation
at some point.
And I think Sacramento specifically, and how polarizing De'Aaron Fox is, when we talk about, you could sit here, Chris, and I get it, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
I could sit here and say some things that we had that conversation about Malik Monk and whether or not his usage would go up or down. People were not happy about that. I could sit here and I feel like I could talk bad about Malik Monk and talk bad about De'Aaron Fox, and more people would be on the line saying, you better watch your hit me with the Jerry Jones, right? I'll find somebody else that could say the right things about Malik Monk than De'Aaron Fox, which I find very fascinating.
It's interesting for sure.
And maybe it's because he doesn't, as far as being that elite number one, we're talking about other people and Swaggy P saying De'Aaron Fox isn't looked at as an elite player on the outside because of Sacramento. I don't even know if De'Aaron Fox is viewed as an elite player in Sacramento as a whole.
Fair question, for sure. I mean, I feel the same thing energy-wise, for sure. I mean, like you said, it feels like Malik is undeniably the fan favorite, but and that can be true and still have people believe in De'Aaron, but it does kind of feel like there's a lot of people here in Sacramento that, and don't get it twisted, on the other side, there are people who have been very adamant since the day De'Aaron Fox was drafted that he is going to be the player that he is today. But there is a large portion of people that I think are still waiting for the prove it, again, I think a lot of people see the number that his next contract might be and say, what are we even talking about here? He's not that kind of caliber guy.
Right.
So it is definitely something I don't, when I say unique, I don't necessarily think it's specifically unique to Sacramento, but I do think it's a rare case in the NBA where pretty much anyway. I don't think OKC is having those same conversations about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It does feel like Sacramento and maybe a couple other markets out there, but only a few really don't have 100% buy-in or 95% buy-in on their best player.
And I don't know if this is fair or not, Chris, and we got to get to the other side, but the guys that we just named off, all of them have had deeper playoff runs than De'Aaron Fox.
Yep.
And again, I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation. Obviously, we talked about Steph, the point guard specifically. Steph, we know what he did. Luka just went to a finals. Then you have Jalen Brunson, who just had a crazy run. Tyrese Halliburton, even so. And then you start getting Damian Lillard. He's just been around. He's done it for a longer period of time.
Sure.
And even you get a random Trae Young who had a random Eastern Conference Finals run. Guys like that. So maybe that's part of it too. It's a team game, but it's not a football situation. If you're one of those dudes, people feel like you should be able to carry him. Coming up on the other side, we will get to this Brock Purdy conversation. George Kittle is defending his guy again. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shop Big O Tires now through November 3rd and fall into savings with up to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Disposal fees extra. Not valid with other offers. See Big O dealer for details.
For 76 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 76th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Great stuff so far. Nate, do we have a name for our winner for the Fright Fest tickets?
Yeah, we do. His name is Brian.
Congrats to Brian.
He's in Rockland.
Shout out Rockland. I don't know if I've ever been to Rockland.
An aunt lives there. It's a rich place.
Is it?
Very rich. Yeah.
Shout out Brian. Enjoy your time in the Valley Joe, in Vallejo, at the Fright Fest, only at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. You have more chances. It's already Wednesday. 2 more chances to win those passes to get out to Fright Fest. Medusa. Chris, you said it's not called Kong anymore? It's called Superman?
No. The Roar. The Roar. Like the wooden roller coaster is no longer
Joker,
there.
yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, it's not there at all?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't believe
Because
it's
Kong was my jam, the orange one.
Wait, because it turned into Joker, so that's not there anymore?
I mean, that could be there, but from what I understand, it's completely, I mean, like you said, it might be completely rethemed, and I don't know if it's a wooden coaster anymore. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, they do.
It's been a very long time since I went. Like, it's probably been about 8 years since I went to Six Flags.
Wait. The exciting and utterly fun hybrid roller coaster.
Yeah, it's half metal, half all. Because before it was one of the craziest all wood.
Oh, so they refreshed, refurbished it.
Yeah,
there you go.
That was like 10 years ago, I think. Though.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know.
I know that the Superman ride is right next to where that used to be, though. I don't know about Kong. Yeah, Kong was always the post Medusa. Gotta hop on.
I always thought Kong was slept on.
Really gives me whiplash.
I thought Kong was slept on for sure. But the wooden ones, they hurt, man. Even at Santa Cruz.
Are you a V2 guy? You know, the one that it's kind of like just shoots you off and then it goes backwards. Yeah, I've probably done it like 3 times.
I mean, what about you guys like the drop zones?
No.
No. Well, I love Guardians of the Galaxy at Disneyland.
That's soft.
Different. It's different, but it's like that feeling of like you're floating.
Yeah, but it's like up and down. I just like when you just drop it like it's hot. You know,
I can't do that.
Just let it drop. Well, I'll tell you what isn't dropping, and that's Brock Purdy's QBR. He's been outstanding throughout his career and specifically this season. I saw somebody say, isn't it interesting that the Niners are 3-3 and Brock Purdy's playing the best football of his career? Talk about who's carrying who. And George Kittle had this to say on Nate's favorite podcast. What is it? Cleats and
it's called Don't Listen. Called
Sports Mics and Cleats
with Liv Woods.
With is that her name?
I believe that's her name.
Okay, you
Either
finally
that or Stilo Brem.
You finally figured it out. It's Athletes and Cleats. Oh, Cleats and Convos. That's what it's called by Debo Samuel.
I know nothing related to Debo's name. No pun on the movie Friday. Just not even just so generic.
Yeah. And here is George Kittle. Basically, they're having the same Brock Purdy conversation they've been having for 3 years now, Chris?
Yeah.
Having the same conversation they've had. Here is George Kittle defending his quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Well, I think we've gotten to the point where a majority of like the talking heads or the majority of the actual like analysts who watch football and have played football and understand football, I think they're all on the board of like, yeah, he's a pretty damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you have the people out there who are still hating on him for no reason. I mean, like you look at, it's crazy too, because like I think Brock is he's a victim of the moving of the goalposts, like all the time. Like they're like, oh, well, he doesn't do this, or this, and then when he does all that stuff, it's like, oh, well, it's because of Debo, George, and Ayuk. Well, then he does it. Hey, he like led the league in like his yards downfield, all this stuff, and me, Debo, didn't even play in the game. It's like, well, what are you complaining about now? Oh, he's a check down merchant. I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in air yards. So it's just like, what else do you want him to do?
They're gonna find something at all times.
And also, like, I mean, like, hey, has he had a bad game? Sure, quarterbacks have bad games. Like, love Josh Allen. Like, he's had a game where he's had 3 picks before. Like, you don't just gonna like roast the guy for that, because most of the time he plays at a super high level. So it's just like, all right, sure, he had like I think Brock's had 1 okay game this year, but besides that, he's played elite.
Moving of the goalposts, George Kittle says.
Yeah. When I was listening to this, and I know it was an internal show, of course, it's Debo. So they're talking about it. It has to be talked about. Who knows how much power, honestly, Debo has over what they're going to discuss. I tried to say this, guys, and somebody responded to me on social media and didn't really understand what I was trying to say. This isn't about Brock at all, but I'm just wondering, I mean, you got George Kittle sounding like a content creator talking about Brock Purdy's air yards. Is it just going to get to a point? I mean, should the Niners, and again, not on this specific podcast because it's Debo, but are we getting to a point where the Niners are maybe getting tired of having, I mean, I've heard George Kittle say the same thing about 10 different times. Are we getting to a point where if you're the Niners, if you get asked about a question about Brock Purdy and how good he is, are they to the point where they should just say, he's our guy. If you don't get it, watch the tape. And just don't say anything else. Because I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, is that a better approach than explaining what's going on? Because I don't ever hear Bengals players talk about the air yards or having to explain Joe Burrow. I don't hear Bills players have to explain Josh Allen. I don't hear Chiefs players have to explain Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying, should they just freeze the media out and just say, hey, the same way they've frozen certain media members out, and just say, hey, I don't have to explain this to you. We're winning football games. We think he's elite. The end.
It's probably going to get to that point at some point here soon. I mean, it's just I'm surprised that the conversation is still happening at the frequency that it is. And, if I were a player, I would just go the opposite way. I would just start talking. You know what? Yeah, he's not very good. Like, at some point you just start giving bad answers. And so people stop asking you about it. Obviously, that's not the point you want to get it to. But I do think that this conversation in general has been talked about to exhaustion. And, like you said, to me, that's the argument at this, because it's just not worth spending the time and doing the research that apparently you have to do in order to get the numbers to prove exactly why. It is just a matter of, look, if you don't think Brock's very good anymore, all I can tell you is watch 3 games in a row. And if you still feel that way, then you just feel that way.
Right.
Like, there's no way, to me at this point, if you're questioning what it is that makes him as highly regarded as what he is in certain circles, then I just don't think you're going to get it, or you just haven't watched enough games. And at some point here, Niners players are going to get tired of it, and it's probably it's not going to affect the relationship with Brock Purdy, but it is going to get exhausting, and it's going to be almost like, typically these things happen with backup quarterbacks where it's, hey, how good does, Josh Dobbs out there look like, and you usually get tired of having to talk about him, not your starter, in a positive way. And so,
Tua, they do the same. I feel like
Tyreek
Hill is always defending Tua.
Yeah.
Right. These guys where you're not really sure. And, it's interesting. Maybe Chris, and I don't know when Tua is going to get back. Maybe it's just a money thing. Right. I like to talk about the tech world. If somebody gets promoted and they're now a director, even if you're not sure whether they should be, once they have that title, they're eventually going to get that respect because they have that title. Once Brock gets that paycheck, I wonder, are we still going to have these conversations because the Niners trusted him enough to give him a bag of 50 mil, maybe even 60 mil. Okay, we can move on now. Now it depends on how this thing ends. But even if they just make the playoffs, if there's no Christian McCaffrey, or Christian McCaffrey comes in late, the Lions have just been hot, and next thing you know, they lose in the second round. Whatever the case may be for the Niners, they don't get it done. But Brock had another heck of a season. He gets paid upwards of $55 million. Maybe at that point we'll stop, because I don't even know if they talk about the Jared Goff this much, right? I mean, even questionable guys, Jared Goff gets the bag. Nobody necessarily is questioning Amon-Ra about Jared Goff. Baker Mayfield gets the bag. Same idea. Maybe it's a matter of,
with all those guys that you've listed, is also top draft picks. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, all those guys.
But maybe once he gets paid, because you're right. I mean, Kirk Cousins still has question marks, but he gets paid.
Yeah, but once you get paid, then you start getting questioned of, are you getting paid too much? Yeah. And is it worth it? I think that it's just a matter of people have to watch the game. Like, Brock is playing well enough, and the play to me speaks for itself. And maybe if he has playoff success and the team continues to win, that's the easiest way of keeping people quiet. Because you're right. Like, people should ask those same questions of Baker Mayfield, of Jared Goff. And they just don't. And I think it's because at this point they are who they are. And for some reason, I don't know why 2 playoff runs hasn't been enough for the football watching audience, but I guess he's going to have to do it a third time. And, it also might just be something where, for whatever reason, I mean, Kirk Cousins pretty much gets questioned to his deathbed. He might just be the next Kirk Cousins, where for whatever reason, people are always going to have questions of, yeah, he's good, but is he elite? And I think the counter is always going to be, well, does it really matter if he's just continually winning games?
Yeah. Ultimately, when I say tired, I just think of the discourse, not
sure.
with Brock.
Yeah.
I even think the fans, and we're opening this up right now, 916-339-1140. Are you tired of talking about Brock Purdy? Are you tired of defending Brock Purdy? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Check out Sacramento State football this Saturday, 6 p.m. versus Weber State.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh,
you don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at the AEWay.com for an instant quote. That's the AEWay.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado RST in stock after rebates. All of them. Silverado blowout on now at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 10/31/24.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Top stories at the top of the hour coming up in about 15 minutes from the 925. The reason they keep saying his stats is because when Jimmy G was winning, they were talking him up, but they want everyone to know Brock isn't Jimmy G, even though when Jimmy G was at his best, he also had great stats. I hear you, 925, but he never had stats like this.
I think that's fair.
I agree.
As a Niners fan, I would get defensive about Jimmy G, and now I think I have that knee-jerk reaction to do that with Brock. It's slowed down a bit.
But you have the numbers to back it up, and with Jimmy G, you didn't. It was all, well, we're winning.
Yeah, and I think outside looking in, they probably see the same thing. You know, if you're not watching every snap, not paying attention to every game, you see similar stats in like the win column and the touchdown ratio column, and you go, oh, they're just doing it with the same guy again. It is not the same guy at all. Maybe pre-ACL it was more similar, but Brock Purdy is leaps and bounds better than Jimmy Garoppolo. It's the team around him that's been letting him down, mostly on the defense.
530 says, the question is, will the Niners offer Brock a max contract? If they do, conversation over. Yeah, whether it's literally the most that Brock can get, I don't think it even needs to be that. I think as long as Brock is up there with the other guys or makes more than, you know, the Tuas of the world, whoever it is, yeah, I do think the money will help. But to that point, Chris, all the guys that you just mentioned on the other side or the segment prior, those guys, they did go higher. And I never thought that was a thing, but maybe it is, honestly. I never thought the draft position, maybe to start, but I thought we had moved on from that, but maybe we haven't. I mean, I guess nobody moved on from it with Tom Brady until he won one. So maybe that's just what it is as far as, oh, is this a fluke, whatever, or did the Niners really just, you use the word get lucky or find a diamond in the rough? Yeah, once Tom Brady started winning the big one, that's when it stopped being about,
right.
Oh, well,
great coach, great defense.
Yeah, it was. No, Tom is one of those dudes. So maybe that's just what it is. It's a different scale when you get drafted that
I
long.
don't think that ended until he went to Tampa Bay and won one. For real.
No.
Really? Like,
he was in New England and people, I mean,
there was some Belichick
That's
versus
what I'm saying. That's what
Tom
I'm,
questions,
that conversation,
but not like this.
There's questions of if Brock Purdy is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not
elite.
Yeah.
And whether he's the GOAT or not, or nobody ever, it was never a Tom is a Belichick merchant. It was, do they need each other?
Oh, I felt like it was which came first, chicken or the egg, and it was between Brady and Belichick, and it's like which one's actually
those questions that did exist 100%. You're not wrong; it did exist, but just not nearly to the same level.
This guy a bum?
Yeah, it was. Are we going to call Tom Brady the GOAT when he's got this great coach? Not Tom Brady is great, only because of the coach.
A great defensive-minded coach at that too.
Yeah.
Other question as well. I don't recall. Maybe it was happening. People doing the different dimension thing and saying, put so-and-so, put Phillip Rivers on the Patriots and how many championships do they win? I don't remember that happening at the same clip as it happens.
No, you're right.
Brock.
You're right.
That
definitely.
And maybe that is
interesting one. That's
Drew
really
Brees. Drew Brees.
Put David Carr on the Patriots. Sorry.
Don't do that.
Not there.
Well, you saw Matt Castle that year.
Put Matt Castle.
Shoot, man.
I know we're trying to get somewhere, but that
Put
was
Tyrod Taylor.
And then they did the Jimmy and Brissett thing, and I think they won.
It worked out pretty well.
They did, and that was Jimmy's coming out party.
That was right after the deflation.
That was
suspension, right? Yeah.
Put Cordell Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put Cam Newton.
Put Cam Newton.
Oh, well. That didn't work.
916-339-11. He is there, but with Mayo. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Steven. Let's be part of the Brock Purdy conversation. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
Put Stephen Cardwell in there and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Put me in there, coach.
That's right.
I'm ready to play.
That's right.
Come on.
Chris is ready to dump me already.
I don't have that power.
I do.
I do too.
It's the other two you need to worry about.
Ooh, let me be careful here because I am not a Raider fan. So why is the Niners? Because this is starting to become a distraction with everyone answering his questions and speaking on Brock Purdy's behalf and taking defense to him, and it's just I feel like it's starting to become a thing. Why can't the rest of the team? Why can't the whole team just come together and just pull a Marshawn Lynch and start acting like Luke Walton. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what do you guys think about Brock Purdy? Why isn't he blah, 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 blah? Check the tape.
That's essentially what I'm saying. That's
like,
what
I feel like they should go. I feel like they should just exactly. I feel like they should just get together, rally around, and just be like, bruh, I think for the past 2.5 seasons or a season and a half, however long, we have been speaking, we have been answering all of your questions that you are redundantly asking for the past 36 months. So why don't you guys just watch the tape, check the numbers, stats are facts, and they prove the points that they answer your questions. I feel like just check the tape. I'm only here to get fined. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what these guys should do. You guys have a good day. Thank you for your time.
No, thanks for the call, Steven. But that's what I'm saying, Chris. And it doesn't really happen as much in with the local media.
Yeah.
It's when they do hits. So honestly, I'm wondering if they even have the ability to do that. If George Kittle goes on the Rich Eisen show,
right,
and his PR person says, hey, this is what they're going to ask you. If George Kittle says, hey, and you know, they're sitting in the podcast situation here, not a post-game presser or in front of the locker room, and Rich Eisen says, hey, Brock Purdy, blah, 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 blah. And George Kittle says, yeah, just check the tape. You know, you guys don't have on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and ask them about,
right.
Which is funny because I think they do. It's just a different conversation. It's just if T. Higgins is on, and I say T. Higgins because I walked by him when we were in Vegas. So now
really?
I did.
Wow,
and he was just in the crowd. Nobody even knew who he was.
Yeah.
Right. So if T. Higgins is doing a hit and he'll get asked about Joe Burrow, but it's just different. It's about
the tone is different.
The tone is different.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not a matter of I'm not going to answer it, or hey, let's ask. Hey, ask me questions as if you were talking about these other guys. That Brock actually has better stats than. Let's not do the same. Is Brock good thing? I'm not answering those questions. So maybe they can't pull a Marshawn because quarterbacks do get talked about for everyone. It's just the questions that get asked is my issue.
Yeah, even like, I mean, maybe I'm just picturing it in my head too clearly, but like I hear exactly what you're saying. Like it feels like they asked T. Higgins. So I mean, how good is Joe Burrow?
Right.
But they'll ask George Kittle. Now, how good is Brock Purdy?
Exactly.
And it's the same question, but it's just, again, the tone in which you ask it is, now tell me about how ridiculous all these things that Joe Burrow brings is. And the other one is, prove to me why, please explain to me why Brock Purdy is so good. And it's the same question, like you said, but it just feels like they want a different, not necessarily want a different outcome, but again, like it's just, it's a leading question. I mean, you really are trying to insinuate, no, this guy's not very good. I need you to prove it to me. Explain to me in layman's terms why this guy is good. And that conversation just doesn't exist unless you are a top pick that just is a Daniel Jones. Like those are the only guys where you just get completely written off. Because even we talk about it all the time with Trevor Lawrence. Like I feel like the conversation is just now starting to change about Trevor Lawrence. He's been getting benefit of the doubt for 3-4 years now. And it feels like it took this long for people to just get to the, oh, maybe he's like just going to be average, you know? And it feels like Brock is just trying to get to the point where, can I just be a quarterback that nobody asks questions about? Like, it doesn't even have to be us talking about Brock Purdy being a top 3 quarterback, but why are we still having to explain why this guy belongs to as a starter and potentially somebody that's going to get the same money that Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and all these other quarterbacks that, I mean, Dak Prescott, $60 million. Like, it's just weird to me that, we don't have questions, or they don't question those guys to the same level that they question Brock.
It's almost like not a pitch. And again, I'm not saying Rich Eisen specifically. I'm just saying in general, when they go on these national shows, it's almost like they're getting patronized as well. It's, hey, I like Brock.
Yeah. It's not me.
It's not me. They've never done a show where the host has been straight up. I mean, you could have Steven Ruiz could have a Niner player. He'd say, I'm a big Brock guy. No, I'm a believer.
I get it. I came around.
But a lot of these guys, I'm there. But a lot of these guys, so nobody ever says what they really mean when they have these guys on. And ultimately, you can't do the Marshawn, even though I started the segment off with wanting to do so, but there's got to be something because they're just saying the same thing over, and speaking of Marshawn, over and over and over and over and over again. That's just what it is. Coming up next, top stories at the top of the hour. Jared Jones says, I wasn't yelling. You know I was yelling. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there. To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide and services to showcase your invention. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now that fall is here, now is the perfect time to head to Stockton and check out a new Mercedes-Benz. I had the opportunity just last week to drive an all-new S-Class 550, and let me tell you, it was a sweet ride. The moment I hopped in, I felt like I was in a world of luxury. From the steering wheel to the seat cooling and even the power of the engine, I was impressed. And then, of course, when I hopped in my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, I felt the same thing. So hurry in and take advantage of the Mercedes-Benz incentive bonuses up to $15,000. And they have tons of pre-owned vehicles as well, including C-Class sedans, GLC SUVs, and a whole lot more. Take it from me, you won't be disappointed. So take the short drive down I-5 to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or online at mbofstockton.com.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
One more hour. Getting you halfway through the week. Gonna hand it off to the drive guys, who I'm sure I gotta listen, Chris. I know we got a team meeting, the three of us, but I do want to hear what Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason have to say about Doug McDermott joining the Kings. I just want to fast forward and find out how much Doug McDermott is actually going to play.
Teach me how to Doug. Teach me
Thank you.
how to Doug. Teach me how to Doug. Teach me how to Doug.
Let's go.
I think he's going to play a good bit. I think he's going to play a decent bit. I don't think a ton, but I would expect, on most nights he'll probably, I think Trey Lyles is still going to be the starting option at the backup 4, but I don't see why Doug McDermott can't, start in the rotation. And, as long as he kind of gets up to speed, he does have a week and a day before opening night. Like he's got to kind of figure out the Kings offense and everything like that and where he's going to fit. But I can definitely see him being a small player. I think I said yesterday, think of, the Chris Duarte, Terrence Davis role. It felt like both of those guys played in a good handful of games, a majority of games, but there was definitely some nights where, you just wouldn't see them, whether it was because they didn't play well leading up to it or whether it was just Mike Brown felt like the matchup didn't call for it. I just feel like he's going to be a very fluid piece of the rotation.
I just think early on, he'll have his chance to make like his long-term impact because of all the injury with Herter and Lyles. Like he'll be able to make his mark early if he can, and that will be could prolong his minutes later in the season, kind of earn his time with Mike Brown.
Right. Kind of get that trust
as Herter and Lyles. Yeah. Kind of adjust and, get back in.
Yeah. And I don't think interesting that we bring up Kevin Herter. I don't think Kevin Herter is worried per se. I think he's going to get his opportunities. It's just a point to where, hey, you have to hit shots. You have to be productive. If you're worried about Dougie McBuckets, you got bigger problems. So I don't think he is worried. I think he's just anxious to get out there.
I'm seeing a lot of people also who are pointing out Doug McDermott, Kings killer, an official.
I saw
Kings
that
killer.
30-point game that he had a little
monster game. His career splits 5 games he's played at Golden One Center. He's averaged 16.6 points per game, shot at 70% from the field, 57% from 3 in 5 games in which he has played in Golden One Center. 20 games throughout his career he's played against the Kings, 10.9 points, 56% from the field, 48% from 3. So maybe it's something about the Sacramento air that dude just really, really likes.
There you go. Well, we know it's a shooter's arena. We do know that. Have this text that we're going to get to from Big Van Vince. Great name, by the way. Do you own a big van? Is that what's going on there? Big Van Vince from the 916. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. But now it's time for the top stories at the top of the hour. Guys, we have a follow-up from the Jerry Jones fallout with everything that happened. This is Jerry Jones to Diana Rossini on getting angry yesterday morning during a weekly radio interview, and Diana Rossini went on to post this on The Athletic. This was Jerry Jones. He says, I don't know that I would go as far as calling the volume connotation as yelling. Okay, but the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. I can take it from fans and take it from other people. I take a lot of pride in how fair and how much I try to work with the media. We're brothers and sisters. But I was a little frustrated there today. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, or if there had been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, I might have had a different answer.
If I could get on my soapbox here.
Okay.
Jerry Jones wants to surround himself with yes men. This is what people do. This is what directors do. This is what George Lucas did with the Star Wars prequel trilogy, guys. He got people surrounding him that just do whatever he wants. He wants to bring in people that just will say yes and agree with him and not push him. That's not how you get better. That's why your team has sucked since the 90s. The last guy that would challenge you, you kicked out the door. And then you kept, what's his name, NBC,
Jason Garrett?
Yeah, Jason Garrett around for a decade just because he would do whatever you want.
Love to
and it's like, that's why you're bad, okay? And you're 82. It's too old to learn. You got your son doing everything with you. He's just going to do everything for you. That's why you're losing, and that's why the franchise sucks.
There you have it. Let's also hear from, thank you, Nate. Tell us how you really feel. Let's also hear from Mike Leslie, who is an anchor in Dallas, and he had this to say, very similar to what Nate had to say about how Jerry treated Sean and RJ. Here it is.
For him to say that, get a laugh, and then double down and make it clear, yes, that was a threat, that is petulant behavior from an 82-year-old man who isn't getting his way. It is absolutely their job to ask you hard questions, Jerry, and credit to Sean and RJ and Bobby Belt for not backing down in the face of that, because we know Jerry isn't kidding. He's done this before in the 90s with Dale Hansen and Brad Sham. He probably could get them fired. He shouldn't. They did nothing wrong, and he's showing himself to be a fundamentally small person to threaten such a thing, but he probably could. He can't fire the rest of us, though, and until his team starts winning more games, the questions will all sound the same.
Bars.
That was bars.
Bars.
There's something about these TV guys.
Oh,
like
when they never do it. Yeah.
Something about them.
When they
unload
man.
the clip, they let that thing sing.
They're like, I get to do this twice a year.
Yeah, here's my stand-up.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss my shot on this one. So
did not miss.
Great stuff there. And look, Jerry's a powerful man, but you know, you guys ever watch Varsity Blues? They overthrew that situation with that head coach, and he actually won state titles. So Jerry, stop messing around, because it will get to a point. Now, I did see someone say, Chris, and we got to move on, that until the Cowboys fan base starts hitting Jerry where it hurts, nothing is going to change. You continue to pack Jerry World, and he's going to think we don't have any problems. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl, but he also wants to continue to make money. So it's going to get to the point where the Cowboys fans got to say, we're not going to go watch this trash product.
I think he wants to host Super Bowls, too. He wants that.
Sure.
Yeah, he wants everyone to come there, and it for
They don't gotta be in it.
WrestleMania, everything.
Yeah, they don't got to be in it. All right. Speaking of hosting, Atlanta will be hot Atlanta, Chris, throughout the next 5, 6, 7 years. This is what Atlanta has on the docket to host. Atlanta in 2025 will host a Major League Baseball All-Star game. I might have to go to that. I missed the one in Arlington. I might have to go to that. 2025, they will host the College Football Playoff National Championship. 2025, they also will host the FIBA Club World Cup. 2026, they will host the FIFA World Cup. 2028, they will host the Super Bowl. And 2031, they will host the NCAA Men's Final Four. Never been to Atlanta, Chris. Yep. I've heard I'd enjoy myself out there, but I have not been yet. Heard it's a great time. And I was listening to Jason and Carmichael Dave during the morning. They were ranking the Super Bowl spots. They didn't have Atlanta that high.
They had it last.
And, you know, I didn't say it. I was looking at Nate, though. It was Nate going to say 2 Americans, but I got to get out there. I got to get out there to Hotlanta, maybe for the MLB All-Star game.
Yeah, I would like to do the list. I think I do agree with them. I think New Orleans is probably number 1. I think that's the spot this year.
They said they're going. We will not be going.
Yeah, we will not be going. And they made that very, very clear. They keep saying it, even though we have not once asked to go this year. Right. They keep telling us you and I are the ones that aren't going. I'd go New Orleans 1. Haven't been there, but I only hear great things. I would probably consider having Atlanta 2. I could understand. I've never really been in LA for like a big event. I could see how maybe something like the Super Bowl would definitely bring a lot of eyes, attention, and just attractions to LA. So I understand having LA 2, but Atlanta's got to be 3. And come on, I mean, how do they had San Francisco at number 3? That's crazy to me. Especially us, we should know. They know.
Yeah.
Dave and Jason should know. The game's in Santa Clara.
Right.
The festivities are an hour
we
and a
already
half
did
away.
it. We already did the last one.
We already did it, and everyone said it was
because I was out there and I'm thinking,
yeah,
all right,
they had stuff downtown, right?
If the Niners win or whatever, the post-game parties, are the parties in San Jose, are the parties back in San Francisco? How you gonna the game
Everybody's
ends at 11.
They get their own train.
They all on
light rail or something.
You're not getting to the club to City Nights until it's closed already. You got to get back to the city. You're going to be in San Jose.
You got to work out that 4 a.m. deal.
You're going to be at Casino Matrix. That's all you got out there. So
that Intuit Dome deal.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Man, that's what I'm saying.
But it's outside. It's not the same as an arena. They don't got a club.
I know.
They don't got a club. All right. Next on the list, Philip Gustafsson becomes the 15th goalie in NHL history to score a goal, just attempt to do so by shooting the puck into the net, and first in Minnesota Wild history. 3 straight seasons now with a goalie goal in the NHL, and lots of time for another. Here's how it sounded.
Buchnevich fires in, looking for a goalie goal. Gustafsson scores! Philip Gustafsson mobbed! We've got the goalie goal!
Wow.
Great call.
Great stuff.
Bob Costas could never.
Tom Brady could never.
Goodness.
Well, you
would
think
interrupt.
about it.
Tom would.
Yeah. How'd he do that? It is
goal.
Romo would be like, that was very Mahomey of him.
It is an open net,
like
so it is a bit surprising it doesn't happen a little bit more.
I'm surprised. I'm shocked. 15th in NHL history.
Get some mustard on that and
shocked.
Just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
I would think you're more worried about defense, though, in that situation when they clear
just
the goal.
send it.
Right.
Just send it to the other side.
Yeah.
Get that
Stop
thing in.
playing it safe. You know who doesn't play it safe? Bronny James. Not only is he averaging not really that good of a stat line, 44 minutes, 4 points, 5 turnovers, 2 for 16, 0 for 7 from 3. He's been a minus 40 so far, and this is why people get upset, Chris. He is also on the cover of Men's Health, and here are some of the kind of tidbits on the magazine. It says Bronny James, the NBA rookie, on playing with dad, surviving a heart scare, and training to win. I don't know that I have a problem with it. I'm torn on this, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's not LeBron's son, it doesn't happen. But it's not the fact that it doesn't fit. Like, I definitely think there's at least a storyline to be followed with his heart situation and coming back. And then, regardless of how it happened, getting drafted a year later, like, there's definitely a story there. But, I mean, this is more of the, he's not getting this if he's not LeBron's son.
Yeah, so it's just that's a tough one.
Those numbers are insane.
I know. It's not good. I thought it was Centel.
2 of 16.
Did you see, I think it might have been the Urban Dictionary. Did you see NBA Centel say that? And I think it might actually be in the real dictionary that getting Centelled got added to the dictionary.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. And for those out there who don't have Twitter, there's NBA Central, which is like an actual Twitter account that like aggregates everything from across the league. If a beat reporter says something, if there's a story written, NBA Central will usually repost it or at least like rephrase it and make their own post. It's called getting Centelled because there's an account, NBA Centel, where it's kind of like, you get the Adam Schofters and the Adrian Wojnarowskis and things like that, where it's meant to fool you. So for those who are unaware.
Yes, so getting Centelled. But when the reason I brought it up is because when I saw the stats, I thought I was getting Centelled, but those were actually
those are real.
Bronny James,
very
real stats. Coming up next, what else is real is that Tom Brady is now a part of the Raiders. But we also need to get to what Big Van Vance had to say on the text line about the Kings and not getting one of those bigger players. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body?
Huh?
That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use. Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
From Diana Rossini, as for the upcoming November 5th NFL trade deadline, Cowboys' Jerry Jones says they will not be active. He also says they will not be making any changes at head coach or coordinators. He points to a lot of details that need to improve during practice.
Okay. So he thinks that the answer is inside the building.
But not the coach.
He also kind of threw Dak under the bus, too. I saw a quote.
He's been doing that now because they paid him.
They paid him, yeah, and they're like, that's not what we expect out of a guy we pay.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Bold strategy.
Trade
Cotton.
him.
We'll
Yeah.
see if it pays off.
Trade him to
They'll take him.
Vegas.
Oh, man, Vegas would take him.
I'm in on that. All right, let's get to what Big Van Vince had to say. Still trying to figure out if you have a big van, Vince. From the 916, he writes, I'm just confused why we haven't targeted any size at all. I love the DeMar signing, but outside of that, I don't see how we got better as a team. Seems like another year of being pushed around by bigger teams. Kind of feel like Monty is afraid to take a swing. What are we saving these picks for? To draft more two-way guards? That's from Big Van Vince.
There's a lot there. I mean, we can go player by player and say if we think that they improved the roster or not, but I just think in general, last year they were starting Kevin Huerter, and this year Kevin Huerter and Malik are presumably coming off the bench. I think that's a better bench unit or first two off the bench than you have last year. I think Trey Lyles is obviously still there. I think Jordan McLaughlin offensively is definitely a better option for what he's going to be asked to do than Davion Mitchell. We already saw that in limited capacity, but the way that he shoots, I think offensively is going to be a better fit than what Davion was here. Yeah, I mean, I think time will tell on it, but I just feel very confident that the Kings have a deeper roster than they had last year. And I guess it's just kind of, again, time will kind of tell on how that actually ends up playing out. But I do think the players and the talent pool is definitely better. And I do think he's right in saying that, the big part hasn't really been addressed. I mean, they still have Alex Len, Domantas Sabonis, and we can't forget about Orlando Robinson. He hasn't had time to play, and maybe that makes Kings fans feel a little bit different. But to me, it's really just the 4 spot that they haven't fully attacked. And I think a big part of that is too, it's tough. Like the 4 position is probably the most open-ended position in basketball right now, where you can either go with a smaller 5 or you go with a bigger 3, but there's not really anybody like Chris Webber he just made sense at the 4 at that time. I think the 4 position has just changed so much with the evolution of the NBA that it's just kind of tough to figure out where exactly you're going to go. Like, I think that there's a chance that DeMar seems to play more of a 4 position this year, especially defensively, than Keegan does. So it kind of depends on who you even view as this team's 4. But definitely size-wise, if you're just talking height, yeah, for sure. I mean, they haven't really addressed many bringing in many big guys, and the only one that they did bring in, Jalen McDaniels, they just shipped off. So
yeah, and I guess for me, I don't know as as Big Vince says, I like the DeMar move. I just don't know if we can live in a world where both things would have gotten addressed. I think, and that's not to say that he's saying both things should have gotten addressed, but I just don't know if it was realistic for the Kings to get DeMar and get somebody that would make us feel better about the situation, unless to the point of Vince, come up off them picks. And I don't think Monty wants to do that yet. And maybe he'll.
I mean, he's come off a ton of second round picks. He traded a 2031 unprotected or a pick swap for DeRozan. So he kind of has already started to come off the picks. It's only a certain amount of picks you even have access to.
Yeah. And now I think it turns into a trade deadline conversation. What does this team look like? And you know how I feel about the trade deadline moves, Chris. But they might not have a choice. I just think there will be a lot more suitors in the mix when that happens. But let's see what it looks like, man. Let's see. I know it hasn't looked great during the preseason. Let's think more about the first couple games with the Warriors when they played, up to the half, and it did look really good. Now, obviously, the Blazers game leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and the game last night, it is tough because they clearly wanted to win that game. Let's just call a spade a spade. I think the Kings did want to win that game last night. They were playing as if they were trying to win last night, and they couldn't get it done. But they're not going to shoot this poorly throughout the season. They're going to get their legs under them. They're going to be better as far as who needs to be slotted where. And let's not forget, not to say that you need to agree with it, but when Monty McNair was asked about specifically even the Pelicans and how you're going to match up with teams like that, his whole thought process was, and what he said out loud was, well, they also still have to match up with us. So we need to figure out what that looks like and if that's going to be a true thing. Because if it is, I mean, I've been on, you play pickup and there's a team with 3-6-3 dudes, but they're super slow, and you're thinking there's no way we're going to win this game, but then you realize that you have the 3 fastest guys on the court, and it's, we actually can win because we just need to figure out what they can't do well and what we can do well. So they're still figuring out their identity, and once that happens, then we'll be able to figure out whether or not the Kings are going to be in a good place moving forward, or if those bigger teams are going to give them problems. I just think it's too early to tell. The season hasn't even started yet, so I can only imagine if they go on a 2-3 game losing streak, how people are going to react. But I feel you. I'm not even hating on it because I do think that this is a huge season for the Kings. Chris, from the 916, you have to squint really hard to see how Doug McDermott remotely moves the needle for the Kings. Nothing burgers for everyone, plain without the cheese. All right, that's pretty good. Not even whether or not I agree with it or not. I like that one, 916.
Can I throw some teams at you real quick? Do you think that the Bucks, Pacers, Magic, Cavs, Pelicans, Lakers, Mavericks, or Nuggets are freaking out at this point in the season right
now? No.
Can I tell you that the Pacers are 1-2, the Bucks are 1-2, the Magic are 0-2, the Cavs are 0-2, the Pelicans are 1-2, the Lakers are 1-3, Mavericks are 0-3, and the Nuggets are 0-4 as currently constructed. So let's freak out. Let's do it. Let's freak out. Let's do it.
But I don't know if this is...
Nuggets have lost their point differential, -16.
But I don't know if people are freaking out based on the preseason in general. I think people
are drawing conclusions.
I think people are using the preseason for what they already felt like going into the season.
Confirmation bias for sure.
Which I
on both ends. I mean, I'm saying DeMar's going to be great because he looked great in the first game.
Yeah.
It's just in general, it's on both sides of the fence. Don't overreact to preseason. Just don't.
Coming up next, can the Raiders get this much better this fast simply by adding Tom Brady? Yeah. We're talking quarterbacks. We're talking a Hall of Fame legendary coach coming to Las Vegas. Stiles Watkins, Sacramento Kings. Man, my biscuit's hard.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Gonna hand off to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Hand off to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can
hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA3 Weather Center. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for this Wednesday afternoon, and temperatures will peak in the upper 70s. Expect clearing skies overnight tonight and a drop in the temperatures to the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
Feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder. Feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Keep the cargo in your truck's bed dry and protected with a bed cover from TruckSmart. Bed covers that fold up, roll up, and lift up are ready to install on your truck. Turn your vehicle into a hauling machine. TruckSmart truck and SUV accessories in Rockland and Auburn.
Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
Live in concert in Sacramento. Tour. Jeff Lynn's ELO, the final tour, all the hits, live at Golden One Center, October 23rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
When is the best time to buy a new air conditioning system? Right now with Bell Brothers end of summer clear-out sale. You'll get up to $2,700 off a top-of-the-line AC system. Plus, no payments or interest for 1 year for qualified buyers. Call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or go online to thenosurpriseguys.com because we only have a limited number of new top-of-the-line AC systems. And when they're gone, this offer is over. Need more info? Call us. Estimates and second opinions are always free. So call now for up to $2,700 off a new premium AC system. And no payments or interest for 1 year. Plus, if you call now, we'll throw in your choice of a free smart thermostat or indoor air purification system. But you have to call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com. Remember, end of summer is the best time to buy and save on a new AC system. TheNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Tom Brady and his commitment to excellence. This is what Tom Brady had to say, Chris. I'm incredibly humbled and excited to have been unanimously approved as an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Throughout my career, I've always owned the Raiders. I'm kidding. I just threw that in there. I'm kidding. I got centelled. All right.
You got me.
Nate was cracking up. All right, let me start over. I'm incredibly humbled and excited to have been unanimously approved as an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Throughout my NFL career, I've learned that at its core, football is a game of teamwork, resilience, and relentless pursuit of excellence. The Raiders franchise in the city of Las Vegas embody these same values, and I'm honored to become part of that story. Football has been part of my life growing up in the Bay Area, and in so many ways, my football life and journey has come full circle. I love the sport. I love my teammates, coaches, and the fans in every organization I've been a part of. Sports bring us together in a way nothing else can. I grew up on the field, and it's a blessing to know I'll be involved in the greatest league in the world for the rest of my life. I'd like to thank Mark Davis for welcoming me into his family and the tireless work he's done to help build on the organization that so many fans know and love today. Also, thank you to Commissioner Goodell for his support, as well as all the NFL owners that supported my dream. I'm forever grateful. I'd also like to thank my partner, Tom Wagner, Don Yee, Jim Gray, Alex Spiro, and Larry Delson, as they have been instrumental in helping me achieve this incredible milestone. I'm eager to contribute to the organization in any way I can, honoring the Raiders' rich tradition while finding every possible opportunity to improve our offering to fans. And most importantly, win, in all caps, football games. Hashtag just win, baby. Hashtag let's go. That is from Tom Brady.
Hashtag Tuck Rule.
Hashtag it was a fumble. Chris, I know it's been in the works for a very long time, but Tom Brady is now part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and I got to feel like a lot of Raider fans are maybe a little confused, and we are too, despite this also came out from Albert Breer. Despite being approved, Brady, who also is a broadcaster, is not permitted to be in another team's facility, not permitted to witness practice, not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, either in person or virtually, prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs, subject to NFL's gambling policy, subject to NFL's anti-tampering policy. So Tom is making things a little bit confusing for us, but I think it's a good look for the Raiders. I mean, it just can't get much worse at this point.
I think it's a good look. I just think everything you just read there to me is a little bit strange for Tom Brady, the broadcaster. Like, I'm not entirely sure how he's supposed to do any of his job responsibilities if he can't have conversations. He can't be in the broadcast production meetings where they talk with the players and the coaches and everything like that. That part to me is maybe even it's a whole separate conversation. But when it comes to Tom and the ownership side, I mean, I'm not a Raider fan, but I do feel like some of the vitriol for Tom Brady is probably put to the side in the name of, look, we're so down bad. Like, we don't care who really puts us back up top. Why can't it be Tom Brady? I know there wasn't really the same feeling with Josh McDaniel last year and Tom Telesco bringing in two Patriot guys, but I do think Tom just kind of has this aura of him, obviously, of winning and carrying that wherever he goes, bringing it to an organization like Tampa Bay. Like, that's really does show just really how much in the DNA it is of Brady to be a winner. I think Raider fans should be excited. Now, is it actually going to pan out to be anything that ends up making things good? We'll see. I mean, I definitely understand the argument. Like you kind of tease there. Can Tom Brady figure out how to court Bill Belichick? Does he have to be the head coach? Can he be a D coordinator? I think I saw somebody's like Raider dream list, and it's Ben Johnson at OC.
I saw that. Shador is
Shador
that the one?
at quarterback. Tom Brady as president of football operations and things like that. Like, will that exact scenario happen? Probably not. But I do think that that's the magic that Brady can bring to the Raiders is they're not going to be in those conversations if Tom Brady isn't a part of the ownership group. And at the very least, Tom Brady, I think, gives them a seat at the table for those conversations. Now, the Raiders still have to do their part of not getting in their own way and embarrassing themselves and making it so, all those high caliber coaches don't even want to touch the situation. But I do think that Tom Brady just kind of being there, at least in the short term, while he still has immediate connections in the NFL, I definitely think it's going to help them. I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt them. I don't think he's going to be, taking complete overruling power over the organization, but I think that it's going to be maybe something similar to what we just saw with Buster Posey, and maybe it does kind of lead into more of a Buster Posey type role where he actually is overseeing everything. But I think in the immediate, it's at least, hey, this is a name that can get us into the door of a lot of places where we probably wouldn't have even been considered before.
Let's hear from Mark Davis, and this had everybody ears perk up because Mark Davis is saying, I mean, this is not going to be, we talk about hands-on, hands-off owners. Tom Brady is not going to be very hands-off at all, and even the quarterback conversation is something he might be a part of. Here it is.
in the future.
What role do you expect Tom Brady to play in your organization?
Well, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. We wanted to get to this point first before we started defining anything of that nature and all that. But it's just exciting. What I was going to say is we traded Devontae Adams for Tom Brady. And although Tom can't play, I think he can help us select a quarterback in the future and potentially train him as well. And so it's a huge benefit to the organization.
Yeah, I mean, that was first of all, crazy statement by Mark Davis
really
there. That's
a billionaire joke right there.
That is. And I'm sure Raider fans didn't love that, but I will say this. You know who Tom Brady has a relationship with.
A very good, close relationship with.
Will Levis.
That's right.
And then on my wrist, I call it perfect timing. Oh, Nate wasn't there. Nate wasn't there last week. We played Shador. Shador Sanders.
You played his song post game? I saw the video, yeah.
I bust down my roller, you still shine.
How do you know the words to that?
Only because we played it.
We played it like a lot.
Wow.
Tom Brady is close with one Shador Sanders. So Tom is going to tell the Raiders, keep losing.
Yeah.
So we can have our pick of the litter. But it doesn't stop there, guys. Like I said, if you're driving, of course, don't close your eyes. But if you are able to, Kirk Minahan on his show had this to say. The dream world is coming, Chris.
Okay.
He had this, and I don't care. I know people love Antonio Pierce. I know he wears the jacket, and he looks real good.
He's got the lowriders and everything.
But Kirk Minahan had this to say about who else Tom Brady is bringing to the Las Vegas Raiders. Here it is.
I'll just say this. I won't get specific. People have told me that Brady's first move is going to ask Bill Belichick if he's interested in being coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. 2 sources have told me that. 2 high up in the Patriots organization have told me that.
Why would the Patriots? Is that a joke? Like,
there's still a relationship.
No,
there.
I think it's meant to give credibility to his claim.
More
credibility, because it's not just from it's not in the Raiders. It's not the Raiders wish casting or anything like that. It's them. It's as a matter of fact from another team.
So when do you get AP out of there?
Whenever
this year.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, if the greatest coach.
I thought you were just saying he's a Raider through and through.
I'm saying that's what people say about him. AP has not done anything that I need to be worried. Come on now.
How would you grade his dealing with the season so far on a letter scale?
The weird Instagram thing takes me to like a C-. You just can't happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he has not handled the situation great with Devontae.
He's been pretty honest at the podium a couple times, and I think that's refreshing.
Oh, he had the business decision thing, what kind of started all this.
Strange. I mean, how they've handled the quarterback situation has been, I think, less than ideal. I don't know why Gardner Minshew 3 to 4 weeks into the season, all of a sudden, you see something completely different that you couldn't have picked up during camp. And, Whitey brought it up yesterday. I do kind of wonder how much of that quarterback decision was a little bit of a slap in the face to Devontae Adams. It was, you want Aiden O'Connell? Well, we actually brought Gardner Minshew in here to take the job. So it's actually going to be Gardner's until he loses it. And it didn't take long for him to lose it. So that situation was a little bit
I'm
strange.
looking here.
Okay.
Yeah. I will also say, I don't know why Tom Brady, why we would necessarily think Tom Brady's some quarterback guru. I can't think of a single quarterback.
He's the best broadcaster. He's the best quarterback.
Yeah, it's usually like good quarterbacks. Well,
he's never brought up a quarterback. Like, it's not even like you could, it wouldn't make sense, but it's not even like you could say, hey, Brett Favre,
immediately who I thought of.
Aaron Rodgers was ready to pick up the game day one. You're telling me Brett Favre had nothing to do with that? Jimmy, and look how it turned out. Jacoby Brissett,
Jimmy
look how it turned out.
Jimmy.
I just more mean his backup quarterbacks were all like Brian Hoyer, Kevin O'Connell. Like, he was somebody who specifically
he can teach them how to be an Iron Man.
He didn't want competition, and that's fine. I understand it. You want to be comfortable and all that, and you want to spend the money on other things, but it's just, it doesn't really say that Tom Brady has an eye for talent. And as a matter of fact, pretty much sports history, forget NFL or NBA history, sports history has told us the best in the game actually have a really, really bad eye for talent. Besides Jerry West, there really isn't an example
that's more about
you're
coaching.
a great player. No, even GMs.
No.
There has not been a great player that is also like one of the best GMs. There's like one or two. Ozzie Newsome's a fantastic one, but there's not really many examples of all-time GOATs being good talent evaluators.
John Lynch.
Like I said, all-time GOATs being a talent evaluator.
Well, before Tom, was there a Tom Brady? No.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Tom, from where he came from, where he got drafted. Look, all I know is I'm looking at this Bleacher Report article, and there is a possibility that the Raiders get Shedeur Sanders.
I have one more thing.
And Travis Hunter.
Oh, my God.
I want to squeeze in here. Yesterday, I think you guys were talking with Whitey about axing a coach in the middle of the season. And if that ever does anything, like how good is the team after? Have they ever made a Super Bowl? I looked it up, and I believe there's only one team that has made the playoffs.
Yes, we know who it is.
Yes, Rich Bisaccia.
Yes, and that's why Rich Bisaccia not getting hired is why Antonio Pierce got hired.
Yeah, and that is the most Raiders thing of all time.
That's right. And there's going to be a new first as they fly from Colorado right to Vegas. Tom, they all get off the helicopter.
Go straight to the casino.
Why waste time with Bill Belichick? Have Dion be the head coach.
Fine. Dion head coach.
There you go.
Co-head coaches.
And Bill Belichick defensive coordinator.
No, both head coaches.
Love that.
Both head
coaches. Co-head coaches.
And Tom QB coach.
Yeah. Tom gets
owner.
some snaps too. Give Tom some snaps.
Guys, the Raiders are
There's
bad.
a package. There's a package
It's
for
gonna
Tom.
work. Randy Moss out of retirement, back as a Raider. Ocho Cinco, Shannon Sharp.
I am not a Raider.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you this much. Don't play with my Raiders name. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter.
Are you honestly you're a Raiders fan, right? That's what you say?
Yeah, yes, legit.
So you honest to God want Shedeur Sanders to be the Raiders quarterback next year?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't want Carson Beck, but I'll take Shedeur. I'll take Cam Ward. I'll take Quinn Ewers, and I'll take Jalen Milroe. I'll take him.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe.
I just don't like Carson Beck.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Is it because he's ugly?
It's because he's a very traditional, just in the pocket,
I just
quarterback.
don't know what it is he's supposed to be at the NFL level.
Stetson Bennett, same guy.
Who's the ugliest starting quarterback?
Now that's a good question.
Can you be a good quarterback and not be like kind of handsome? Is that possible?
This is crazy.
Is that possible?
I know. I have one.
You've been hanging out with Carmichael Dave too much.
Jimmy Clausen for drafted by the Panthers.
What are you talking
I don't know.
He's so ugly.
I don't feel comfortable.
Dude, I'll show you this picture in the
talking
break.
about hot quarterbacks, dude. Like, come on.
I like a I like a good looking person. Man, my biscuit's hard. That's not what we're doing. 15 more minutes. Please, Whitey, get us back on track. Whitey joins us, a little bit of crosstalk. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Check out Sacramento State football this Saturday, 6 p.m. versus Weber State.
Have you heard you can listen to your favorite news podcast ad-free? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. Enjoy shows like The Daily, Up First, and Consider This, available ad-free on Amazon Music. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free. That's amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Sign up for Sky River Rewards, and you'll get $15 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, made for California, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, 15 more minutes with you. Been a heck of a show. Congrats to our winner, Fright Fest. You have 2 more chances tomorrow and Friday to win those passes. We are joined by Whitey Gleason of the Drive Guys. They got you coming up at 2 p.m. Whitey, the Dougie McBuckets news broke during our show.
How about that?
How are you feeling about that move?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. They need shooting, but
See, but but that's a good way to start this because at first we thought that they had enough shooting. Then they haven't shot well, and now some people are saying, well, they need shooting. Did you feel like they needed shooting prior to the preseason?
Yes, I said that was like my number one need heading into the offseason. Shooting.
Chris, did you feel like the Kings needed more shooting?
Not specifically, but again, Monty McNair is definitely somebody who always believes that you can add more. I personally wouldn't be the first thing that I would have listed, but undoubtedly, like, this team is best when they shoot threes, and we saw last year how much they are dedicated to taking them. And so I could understand how you could say, like, if you're going to lean into being such a high volume shooting team, you should probably get some high volume, high percentage shooters in there. So
yeah.
Again, not what I would have picked, but I understand how.
To me, shooting for basketball, pardon me, Chris, but shooting on basketball, it's kind of like pitching in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You can never have too much.
Yes, agree. I agree with that. And, a lot of people, I wouldn't say agree or didn't agree, but De'Aaron Fox had the text line and the call line on fire, Whitey, as we talked about the ESPN. They had him ranked 26, but then really went into the future of De'Aaron Fox and whether he's underrated or whether he just needs to be better. And I don't know how you've gauged the Kings fan base and how they feel about De'Aaron. I feel like there are a lot of question marks about De'Aaron Fox outside of Sacramento. I also feel like there are still a lot of question marks about De'Aaron Fox inside of Sacramento. Do you feel like that?
You mean as far as how good he is?
Or whether he should be the guy, and people are talking about that $345 million if he gets all NBA, and we've kind of tried to explain this is more about the market and less about De'Aaron. We're going to give him all this money, then we're not going to be able to do anything else. I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But yeah, I mean, whether people, there's certain guys, everyone's number one per team, and not just in basketball, but in football, whatever it is. A lot of times you can't talk bad about that city's number one. You know what I mean? They're going to defend that guy to the cows come home. But with De'Aaron Fox, I feel like that's not necessarily the case. And a lot of people will actually say, I'm actually not sure about De'Aaron yet.
But that's one of the things that underscores how important this year is. You know, he's trying to prove that he's trying to earn them. It doesn't matter what he proves. If he can earn that extension, the Kings can show that 2 years ago they were great. Last year, we don't know. Well, which is the real Kings team?
Yeah.
So I think it just, not to dodge your question, but I think there's a lot of those questions that are going to be answered this year, one way or the other, with how he plays and how the team plays.
Do you feel like, because I think another part of it too is a lot of people kind of, I guess, like what you were saying a little bit with not as direct, but you say that you thought shooting was one of the things that they should definitely address this offseason. Do you think that, especially maybe looking at the team, has it changed if you feel like DeMar DeRozan was necessarily the kind of guy that they should go after too? Because we've seen a lot of people kind of say, somebody brought up John Collins, somebody brought up Bobby Portis, but maybe that should have been the direction that this team maybe looked to go.
Yeah, I know what you're asking. I'll answer this way. The last couple of days, we've been talking to people around the league, trying to get a, kind of a
pulse.
Yeah, pulse on the conference. So we talked last week with the guy from the Nuggets,
right?
And he said, I'm actually a Harrison Barnes guy. And yesterday
over DeMar specifically.
Well, he just said, I don't know how that's going to fit. He said, they shoot a lot of threes. He doesn't shoot threes well. And I think they're going to miss Harrison Barnes. And then we talked yesterday with Craig Bolerjack from the Jazz, and he was like, how are there enough shots to go around? So it's interesting because I do think there's a lot of people around the league look at this and go, Now you have a chance to add a guy like DeMar DeRozan, you add him.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what Monty said. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. And he does address, there's the questions about, okay, he doesn't spread the floor. I think he potentially spreads the floor from the inside out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
also collapses the defense.
Yeah. And he addresses their need for getting to the line and making free throws, which was a huge problem last year. So, I do think he addresses some of their needs, when we're just going to have to see how this all plays out. To me, they're just still kind of small. That's the thing when I watch them, it's like, they need more size.
And that leads us to how we kind of started the show. We talked a little bit about what happened with the Jazz, but I said this, Whitey, and I wasn't really high on the pick. And then I got fired by everybody from Providence, and you learn more about what Devin Carter can do on a basketball court. Well, I said this. I mean, regardless of whether Devin Carter comes back in January or if he comes back next season, Chris and I, we read through some of the guys like Khalil Ware, who looks like a stud right now, and the Tristan De Silvas of the world, some of the wings. Not that there were a ton, but some of the bigger players. Kind of feels like Devin Carter, he better be good, man. He better be good. That's just how I feel.
I read somebody, might have been Hollinger, saying that Devin Carter will be the player that the Kings thought they were getting in Davion Mitchell.
I could see that. I could see that.
That would work out, obviously.
I think that would work out. I've always kind of gone back and forth with the redundancy question with him and Keon Ellis. Do we just feel like having both of those guys is good? Do we feel like we need both?
Well, he's going to be more of an offensive player, don't you think? Devin Carter? I mean,
it's a little tough. I mean, I think obviously we still have to see it, but I think a lot of people were really highlighting his defense as kind of his big calling card, and especially at an NBA level. I'm a little bit not confused, but I kind of want to wait and see what he's going to look like on the offensive end. I think it's just defensively, I have less questions about it for sure. And his athleticism is definitely something that makes you feel like they'll find a spot for him for sure. Whitey, I don't know how much of the last 5 minutes you got to see of last night's game too, but did you feel like specifically, I saw a lot of people after it happened, and I definitely thought as it happened as well, Keegan Murray passing up on that shot last night with, I don't know, 3, 4, I don't know how much time was left. I think it was before De'Aaron Fox got fouled on the 3. Did it kind of feel like he probably should have pulled that? I mean, ideally, right? I think when they look at the tape, you probably want Keegan Murray taking that. And it felt like maybe in that moment, Keegan said, oh, this is the last shot of the game. I don't think I should be taking this. Like it just felt a little hot potato-y to me.
Yeah, he passed up a good shot.
Yeah. It was a wide
situation.
Yeah, it felt like
you don't, in this offense, can't do that. In most offenses,
you
don't pass up a good shot.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I feel like Keegan has had a great preseason too. I think from a pure looking at how confident he looks and how aggressive and strong he looks.
Does look a little bigger, huh?
He looks great, but that's the moment where it's like everything, all the 47 minutes before that, great, but that's still a thing where I don't know if we're going to be able to get that part out of Keegan Murray oh, no, this is an opportunity for me. Like, this is a me time. And it feels like a lot of the time he's always deferring somewhere else.
How many shots in his life do you think Alan Stiles passed up? None?
3.
And it was only because
I got him 3 max.
The 3's over under. I'm going under.
Yeah.
Well, and if it was 3, it was because we probably had a straight stud on the other.
Exactly.
And I still didn't want to. I still want to say, you know what? I
use him as a decoy.
Yeah, I packed that thing too. I'm earn my respect. Whitey, 10 seconds or less. How you feeling about the Major League Baseball playoffs?
I'm just glad that the ratings are up, and I guess baseball is going to be thrilled if it's Yankees and the Dodgers.
Looking good.
Yeah. Let's go Mets.
I think all they needed was for the Guardians to not mess around and win one in New York. I think Subway Series or Shohei versus the Yankees. I think it's a great opportunity for baseball to get back on track, and this is why a lot of people wanted Shohei on the Dodgers. Real quick, Whitey,
You said I had 10 seconds.
No,
that
I
was
know.
32 seconds ago.
No, I know, but real quick, I just wanted to say I felt so ridiculous. Every time I watch Aaron Judge in a high leverage situation with the Yankees, I feel like a complete idiot being one of those Giants fans who even thought that there was a chance that Aaron Judge was going to stay or come back home, air quoting
What's
home.
going to happen?
Never was going to happen. And they snuck him into that hotel in San Francisco. Ridiculous. All right. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson, the Drive Guys coming up next. Congrats to our winner, Fright Fest. 2 more chances to win tomorrow. Thank you to our callers, listeners, sack chatters, texters. Nate, great job as always. Stiles and Watkins. Until tomorrow, secure the bag. Let it be.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows?